Recording. All right. Here we go.
Coming to you live from the baddest city on the planet, Stockton, California, inside BJJ. Fighting out of the blue corner, your host. This man is a Jiu-Jitsu fighter and a freestyle fighter and a chest hairless fighter. Tim, Hands and Nerves of Steel, Freeman. And fighting out of the other red corner, this man is a Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He invented the Kimura. He invented the armbar. This man is indestructible. Sensei Ernest, Nerves of Steel, Hands of Water, Mellow. Join us for What You Say, a game of what you say. Later.
Later. He's all later. And today's special guest is who?
Jeremey Arel.
Jeremey Arel. He's a rad dude. Thank you very much. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Sean Johansson. Let's have a big round of applause for him. Yay! Or I like this one. This guy.
That guy.
That guy's a real nozzle. That's all I'm going to say. He's a nozzle.
I think I'm cool enough to wear these anymore. Now I feel like I did something wrong.
You feel like a criminal? Hey, guys. Yeah, real excited to have the show today. Obviously, there was a gigantic UFC fight last night, and Matt Freeman.
There was a fight last night?
Yeah, Matt couldn't make it. He, I think he burned himself out cheering for Nick Diaz.
His immune system shut
He
down.
dislocated his shoulder swinging from Nick Diaz's jockstrap, and so he couldn't be with us. I actually got a welfare call from his wife this morning. I had to go check on him. He was standing on top of his patio roof, claiming he was going to jump.
That's funny. It's only like 10 feet high.
Then he fell through the patio roof.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's bad times for Matt Freeman.
Poor Matt, dude. What does this mean for you now, Matt?
He's in the psych ward now.
Yeah.
So, hey, grab that sign real quick. What we're doing is we're having a homicide car wash for Matt, given that Nick Diaz is lost. Let me jam in on that. This is a Stockton special right here. Homicide car wash in loving memory of Matt Chewy Freeman. R.I.P.
209 Holmes. Hey, man, he died before his time, eh?
Curiously, I don't think they call them homicide car washes.
Seriously, he was a good.
Curiously,
he was a good dude, eh?
He was a good dude.
He was a good dude, man. He died before his time, man.
Man,
He
that
had
guy-
kids and everything, eh? We're just trying to get enough money so we can, send him off right, eh?
Hey, yeah, he was pretty cool for a white boy, eh?
He's pretty good, man. He's the best white boy I knew.
His eyes were close together and stuffs. But no,
He had a couple of things wrong with his parts, like some things weren't like they didn't form right, But he's a good dude, eh? That's guy what made him special,
he had some physical ailments. I love that one. That's my favorite. Physical ailments.
Unbeknownst to me, man, he had webbed feet.
Webbed feet.
He could swim real good, man, but he didn't like to get in the water, man. I don't know what happened to him when he was younger.
Uncle Smiley couldn't get in the army because he had webbed feet. No. Yeah, dude, they wouldn't let him in, man. Webbed feet.
Funny.
Is that right? That's
Nah,
actually-
No.
Dude, I'm making stuff
Call
up.
me gullible. Homicide
Yeah.
car wash. So that's my favorite.
Homicide car wash. That's
What do they actually
are.
call them? They're not called homicide car
They
washes.
just call them
So
car
we
washes
call
for
them.
my homie.
I think just
Yeah.
This
car
this is
wash,
what
yeah.
they call them. Car wash.
Yeah,
Like,
car wash. Give a
Yeah.
donation if you want.
Yeah.
yeah, super violent. They're not like asking you, they're commanding you to go to the car wash.
I wonder what the quality of that wash is. I mean, if they do like a good job. Have you ever
But you're
got your
not you're not supposed to complain though.
No,
'cause,
you
like,
can't complain. It's for a guy that was murdered. A gang member murdered by another gang member. Can't complain about that. It's just curious.
They're like, think about Chewy, man.
Yeah, Chewy.
So, hey, just a quick reminder, today's podcast is brought to you by M Kimonos, the very best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gi in the whole world.
in the whole world. Seriously, if you scoured the planet and you tried to find a gi, you would just be disappointed. It'd be like Pretty Woman montage.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you'd put on the M kimono, and then everybody'd be like, "Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, dude, it's the best. It's that good.
It's that
You'll
good.
be laughing like Julia Roberts while you tie your belt."
Yeah, it's that
Yeah,
good.
seriously.
So go to www.mkimonos.com and check them out. You get a real sweet M kimono and support Luciana Machado Simon. I actually had a phone call with her earlier
Yeah,
last week. She used to actually be like a gi tailor. She would have the guys come in, like Murillo Bustamante and Mario Sperry and all those kind of dudes, and they would take their measurements and like tailor the gi specifically for them.
Oh,
Hey.
wow.
This is pretty cool, man.
It's like our chick here in Stockton. Maybe she should get into making gis.
Yeah, but this lady was like not just tailoring. Luciana didn't just tailor length. She actually tailored like the width of the sleeves and everything.
Are you saying that our person is incapable of that?
I'm saying that she probably could, but it's different. Like what Luciana was
They
doing
would just
was
charge
better.
us in American money, and nobody really wants to spend that kind of money.
Yeah,
Right? That's the
$400
real, that's the real difference,
$400.
right? The gi was $50, and the tailoring was like $200.
Yeah, exactly. But check them out. Also, InsideBJJ.com/premium to get on some premium episodes. Ernest is going to interview me for a premium show. We were kicking that idea around.
Hell
We're
yeah.
I like that idea. It's a good idea.
We're gonna have a rumor segment. We're gonna have all that shit. I got the inside on Tim, so I got a lot of rumors for Tim.
a lot of things that.
I will ask him if he's a dick. So we'll just put that out.
Yeah, I wonder what questions he'll ask. I know. So check those out. Amazon click-throughs going great. Here's our sponsors. We're just going to throw them up on the screen there. But if you go to InsideBJJ.com, on the right-hand side, there's an Amazon banner. If you're going to get some from Amazon, click on that, and then we get to shave a little bit. We get to wet our beak just a tiny bit.
Yeah,
Just a tiny bit. Just pinch a little bit off.
pinch a little bit out of that.
You know what I
20
mean?
sack, dog. If I pinch enough 20 sacks, I got my own 20 sacks.
I'm the guy at church who's moving the offering baskets left and right, and then I just take a scunch off the top.
When you pass it,
just
you
a
have
shekel.
you have your thumb inside of the tray.
Yeah.
So as it gets past the other person, you kind of slide that coin out.
Yeah.
And put it in your pocket.
I go for the bills, not coins, but
Okay.
I started with coins.
Usually
but-
starts off small.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what she said.
And then later I'm like, look how the Lord hath blessed me.
Hey, Tim Freeman, I see you, brother Freeman. I see you got a new watch.
Man, who put a can of tuna in the offering basket? Oh, man, you put a guitar pickup in here.
That's my offering. I offer my musical talents to
Who
the
done
Lord.
clipped their toenails in the offering basket?
That's nasty.
So, yeah, help us out by supporting our sponsors. What else? Reviews on iTunes are pretty funny, man. We got a few more pretty funny ones, and I want to encourage everybody, if you have a funny idea for a review, go ahead and leave it. We love it. And also YouTube, our YouTube channel is youtube.com/InsideBJJ. You could find all of our videos there. They're up and ready to go, or I don't need to hear Ernest
Allegedly.
complain about anything. So
Hey, you guys just need to click on the YouTube channel, subscribe, so we can get our hits up, dude. 'Cause
Yeah.
we need to be easier to find.
Yeah.
And it's up to you guys to help us. So quit being fucking weird about it and just do it.
Just do it. Just subscribe, dude.
Yeah.
We can
You know,
swear on this?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Ernest does whatever he wants.
Yeah, I do what the fuck I want. Black belt.
Sorry, Sensei.
Sorry.
I did not go to jiu-jitsu school for 14 years to be called Ernest, okay? It's Master Ernest.
I actually got a new nickname for Ernest, which is good because this is what I want to talk about. So earlier in the week, I injured a training partner on accident.
Who'd you injure?
Little Brandon
Again?
going for
Destroyed his
bully.
fucking arm. dude.
a Kimura.
When was that? Today?
No, it's like a few days ago.
It was the day before he choked him to unconsciousness.
Who choked you to
Sorry, man. Go ahead.
choked you to unconsciousness?
No, I choked
No,
him.
he choked Brandon.
I'll get to that. So,
Brandon needs to tap though. He
Yeah,
never
yeah.
taps to chokes.
so this is what happened.
I got it. Did you shut off my mic on purpose?
No, I wanted to tilt it up so you could
Yeah, it
talk
was
right
like
into
down.
it.
It's like an interrogation.
Yeah, sir, I swing a light over your head.
Yeah.
Bring in the heat lamps, boys. I know you didn't mean to kill her. I'm on your side.
Look, this bitch is out of pocket. We
Yeah,
knew
I
anybody
know.
anybody could feel that way, you know? I can't understand.
So what happened was I went to get a Kimura on him, and I thought he was defending. I thought he was grabbing his belt. And he says what happened was he was opened his grip to re-grip, and at the precise moment he opened, I pulled, and I hurt his arm. I felt really, really bad about it. He lay down on the mat and slept for like 20 minutes, and Ernest proceeded to lecture me about how I did that because I haven't been going to class when he's teaching Kimura, and if I would have done it right, he wouldn't have got hurt. All this stuff. I'm like, okay. So then the next day, I come.
Little Brandon's a little berserker though.
He's a big berserker, is what he
He's
is.
berserker. He's
So-
very good.
Yeah,
But
he's great.
He's full of Valtrex. That
He's-
kid is so full of
He
Valtrex.
takes he has a pocket of Valtrex he takes before he comes to class.
He's my new Padawan. I know I already have one.
I'm starting to see that, dude.
So what happens is the next day, I show up. Ernest is helping out a couple new guys, Jack and Jason the Berserker.
Oh, Jason, your brother Jason.
Yeah. So what happens
Berserker.
is Ernest is helping him out, and Brandon and I are going to roll. And Ernest is like, "You guys are going to roll again?" Like immediately, the first thing. And we're like, "Yeah, yeah." And he's like, "You guys never learn." He shakes his head. About 8 minutes later, Brandon's laying flat down, face down on the mat, passed out because we didn't
He
tap.
doesn't tap, yeah.
He said the choke wasn't tight.
Right, well, guess it was.
Yeah. And so I told him, I proceeded to tell him.
I guess he was wrong about that.
Yeah, I guess you were wrong. See, I don't have a shine
Slight
box.
miscalculation.
So I went on to tell him, and I think I made this up, or maybe I didn't. Maybe somebody could help me. But I told him each time you get choked out, it gets easier and easier for you to go out. I'm pretty sure that's true.
You fucker.
Probably accurate.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. So Ernest is like, "Oh, I didn't know you've been studying neurology for the last, 8 years and blah, 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 blah." And I said, "No, I haven't, but I've been training under Master Ernest Know-It-All." Have you ever heard of him? Know-It-All? Mr. Know-It-All? He knows
So
everything.
funny.
He's a know-it-all. I thought it was pretty funny.
Actually, I find that the most humble guy that I think I've ever come across in martial arts, probably Nick Diaz, and definitely Ernest. I mean, you tell them they're good, and they're like, "Oh, man, I'm just learning." He is humble. I mean, really.
Humility has a lot of degrees to it.
Dude, this guy, sometimes you roll with him, and I enjoy rolling with him sometimes. I mean, you're a bully, of course, Tim, so
Right.
I enjoy rolling with you, but I know I'm going to be bullied, as
Yeah, of
evidenced by
course.
you breaking Brandon's arm and then choking him to unconsciousness, which is fine, I guess, if that's the way you roll.
Yeah.
But sometimes I notice that Ernest will really, really be gentle, and you feel like you learned something. And other times, he's just really, really, I don't know how you say it. I don't want to insult my sensei mean.
Insult my sensei.
I wouldn't say mean, just smashes you.
Yeah.
Sometimes he reminds you who's in charge.
That's not humility, though.
Well, it's kind of like, it's like, "Hey, here you go." And I'm like, "Hey, I think I got this." And he's like, "Yeah, I let you get that. Let me show you the real deal."
That's called, and I learned this from him, that's called grooming.
Oh, you're
Grooming.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's grooming.
It's grooming behavior.
thank
He's
you,
grooming
sensei.
us.
It's like, hey, man, I let you get those arm locks all the time, man.
Hey, man, what do you think about joining the Black Belt Club, bro?
I have to dislocate your jaw just to show you.
It's only $1,200 a month, bro.
You know what? I'm seeing a lot of potential in you, Tim.
Yeah, he takes you aside to have a talk.
Yeah.
I think you really could take your jiu-jitsu game to the next level. I mean, that's what you really want, right? Do you want to take it to the next level? You don't,
Right.
You don't seem like you're here to waste your time and just sit at purple belt.
You don't seem
for
like
the rest
one of
your
those
life.
guys. Yeah.
You seem like you want to achieve greatness, right?
Yeah.
So, what I would recommend to take it to the next level is private lessons, 3 days a week,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
And you're going to be in the advanced class, right?
Oh, I get to go to
that
the
class.
advanced
right,
class.
right. But here's the deal: you have to buy a black gi because that's the advanced class color,
Oh.
right? That's what distinguishes
Does that come
you
with
from
the?
the rest of.
Does that come with it, or do I gotta get the
Well, it's a separate charge,
Okay.
but here's what you get:
Mm-hmm.
you get my undivided attention
Okay.
3 days a week for a full hour,
Oh wow.
right? And you get a gi that distinguishes you from the regular jiu-jitsu players.
So I'm like in a higher, like a group within the
Well,
group.
when people see you with that gi on,
Yeah.
and then they see your game, they know that you're taking it to the next level.
Is there another level after that?
There is, but we'll get to that when the time comes.
I like that.
Let's just
Comes
focus.
later.
Let's focus on this right here. You're ready for this next level,
You got to walk before you can run.
right?
You sound like you're really interested in my well-being in jiu-jitsu.
I am, because I see a lot of potential in you.
Because you could just offer me that elite level now for even more money, but instead you're gonna,
because that would right. You're not ready for that, so,
Right.
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like Sean said, if you start running,
right,
you're
You're
gonna
gonna
start
trip.
walking first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd hate to see you run really fast when you're not ready to run,
Right.
And you scrape your knee,
yeah.
maybe chip a tooth,
Actually,
twist an ankle.
Interestingly, when I first met Tim, he was training at Tor's gym.
Yeah.
He was training Gilas,
Yes, I was.
and he was in there and he was running. And I said, you should probably come and train with the gi too. It's a little bit better. You might learn more.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I do.
And I actually,
That was the beginning stage of you taking it to the next level. Now I don't want to see
Wow.
you sit where you're at now when you already made that commitment. You know?
Yeah, I do.
You want to tread water, or do you want to swim to the shore, man?
I think I want to call you Papa.
I don't like the pressure that comes with the additional belts. Remember how like Tim would come in and like even Even Matt comes in, he puts on the white belt and everything. So I'm just going to beat this guy up. Unbeknownst to the individual rolling with him, he's been rolling since like 1991.
Yeah, right. I love that guy.
Yeah, I love it too. It's like very deceiving though. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've seen this guy for years, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
there's a bunch of those out there.
Yeah, Sean is the guy that got me going over to Eric's place originally.
Yeah.
Sean came in with his buddy Mr. Oates, the Oat Man.
That's right, Mr.
Barry
Oaks.
Yeah, and I remember it was like a key lock party, a key lock and Kimura clinic, left and right, and I was like, who the hell are these guys, man? Where did they come from?
A bunch of beefy ass cops, huh?
I thought that what was going on at that gym on Flora, it was on Flora, right?
Yeah.
Pacific Martial Arts, Pacific Coast or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was the jiu-jitsu scene in town. Like there was nothing else
he
going on.
painted the big Gracie logo on his window.
Yeah.
So like, dude, he had a prime location. Man.
Pacific Coast Martial Arts was actually on the Miracle Mile.
For a while.
The one you're talking about is Torres Martial Arts. It wasn't called Pacific Martial Arts anymore.
Once they moved.
But it was Torres. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when it was Pacific Coast on the Miracle Mile, I remember driving by and yelling, like trying to antagonize people coming out of Pacific Coast Martial Arts in the Miracle Mile.
Why?
Little did you know you were probably intimidating Steve Heath and probably not intimidating
I
those guys
just
at
being
all.
a doof. I knew that my cousin went and did jiu-jitsu there. So if I drove by and I saw people, I would balk at them like, bok, 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 when we drive by real fast and that's stupid. It's like,
what a bitch ass move.
I know. It'd be funny if somebody
Combat
recognized
It'd
me.
be funny if you hit somebody right in front of them, like, and
Had to stop.
and pull over right there.
What's up, Steve?
Talk that shit now, homie. Talk that shit now.
I
Eh?
was just pretending. Yeah, and then Sean's like, "Oh, there's another gym. It's around the corner.
Yeah.
It's like the Eric Shingu Institute for Secretiveness. Like you could not find that gym, man.
Yeah, it was
like,
hard to find.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna go all the way down
To Dudes and Divas.
into the center of downtown Stockton.
Yeah.
You're gonna make a left on California Street. Okay, there's a black hair salon / barbecue shack.
Dudes and Divas.
That's what it's called, Dudes and Divas.
Dudes and Divas. And then right across the street, there's a porn shop, and next to that is a WIC store.
A wig store, yeah.
Wick.
No, WIC, the Women in Crisis
Oh.
government
Yeah.
plan, right?
You're right.
Food stamps,
Right.
you're right.
So you can buy baby food and diapers and stuff there. Okay, just south of that, there's an unmarked building.
There's a window.
There's leaky floor and ceiling apartments. There's no sign. You'll see the steamy window. Go in there. Just go in there.
You literally could not find the place.
No. Very secret.
And when I finally did find the place, I was told by a guy that was mostly a poser that there's a private academy. I was like, oh, I don't know if I should be here then.
Who told you that?
Just some guy. I'm not going to say his name.
Chuck Thaddeus Walker.
Chuck
He is
Thaddeus
silent.
Walker went knee on belly on me the very first time I trained with you guys for about
Sounds right.
10 minutes. But, yeah, so anyway, it's good times. I'm glad Sean brought me to jiu-jitsu. It's awesome.
Sean, the ambassador of jiu-jitsu.
Good. Hey. So last night we're watching the fight, Nick Diaz, George St. Pierre. It's a big deal. And I had it on DVR. I recorded it because I didn't get back and home in time to watch it from the beginning, right as it started. So I recorded it, and I just turned my phone off. Like, I'm not going to check any.
Yeah.
I'm such a freak about it.
Me too.
And this
Fucking weirdo,
this
dude.
guy, he starts messing with me, telling me I know who won. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to know. He's like, well, I know.
This guy was seriously seriously, if he found out, like, something bad was going to happen, like, his phone was going to ring and he was going to be like, you'll be dead in 5 days.
Yeah,
Like,
you have
dude,
5 days.
It's just results.
Yeah.
Like,
I did not want to know, and he kept messing around, and then because this is how I feel, if I'm watching an event, a sporting event, like especially a fight, and it's like somebody from Stockton, and I know that the guy next to me knows who won, then the whole time I'm looking at their body language,
The nervous tension.
Yeah, I'm like, is he trying to tell me something right now?
It's like the 700th time I saw Star Wars. I'm looking at my girl like, have you seen this? Have you seen this movie? She's like, no. And I'm like, how could you not? And I'm so mad that she hasn't seen it. At the same time, you're like,
you don't want her to ruin the ending.
yeah. You're looking at her going, how could you not have seen this at least 5-6 times like this weekend? It's on Spike TV 3 times a day.
Yeah, so I'm looking at him, and then he's mad. No, I don't know. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Then his wife is sitting down, and she opens up the Facebook on her phone, and I'm like, get that away from me. Like, I don't want any of those vibes. I feel like I can feel the text like vibrating on the phone telling me Diaz lost or Diaz won.
Yeah.
Dude, this guy was like, you know how when kids play like Mario Brothers and they're trying to beat that fucking level?
Yeah.
And if you talk while they lose, you're the blame.
Yeah, you're the reason.
What the fuck, man? Shut the fuck up,
Golfers
man. You
get
made me
upset about
die.
it too.
Yeah.
It's like
Only
golf
like
too.
2 lives. Yeah, like exactly like this
Like,
guy
have
was
2
doing.
lives yet
This
left.
guy was doing that, except for his only job was to watch the television. He was seriously like telling his wife to shut the fuck up.
I wasn't.
Nick loses. It's because you were talking.
Yeah.
So like it was like it had to be like Japan watching Pride. He's like shh shh.
Yeah,
shh,
there's no talking.
shh.
at
He was
Pride.
shushing everybody during
Yeah.
the fight.
Well, it's important, and I don't want to
understand.
mess anything up.
He didn't want to miss the
If you're
dialogue.
talking, you can't really understand the move that's being
Yes.
next. You know,
Yeah.
like if you're watching like
Right.
any type of jiu-jitsu move, someone's talking, you're like, I couldn't even understand what that meant because you were talking. When I was
yeah.
about to do it.
And my wife is like messing with me now, right? She's picking.
Right.
She's like, "There's no takedown for George St. Pierre. How many is that now?" In between rounds, she's like, "Who do you think won that round, Tim?" And I'm just like, you know what? I'll go plot at you. I swear to God, I'll go plot at you right here in the living room in front of kids and everybody.
I still wish Nick would have won though. That was weak. I mean, what are you gonna do?
I know.
Because at least our guys, I mean, at least our guys that train here, they train, but they don't have like the millions and millions of dollars to train the way that some of the other guys. Nothing. I'm not trying to take it away from GSP's a stud, but Nick's a stud too, and he just trains normal. He trains like we train. He's not some guy with this high facility. The U.S. wrestling team isn't training him. I mean, that's some serious.
He was kind of complaining about that, actually.
He should
Well,
be.
you know-
They should have been supporting him way more. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
should have been. They've done a
Yeah.
lot of like charity work for Stockton. Like his brother, they went downtown and signed a bunch of autographs and raised a bunch of money when the city was hurting. Got like backstory notice for it. Nobody else has ever done that. They came and signed autographs at the
No
waterfront. Yeah, they sure did.
Yeah.
Nick and Nate both did. But
Yeah.
we only portray them. They always try to show them like, oh, look at Stockton. These guys
Yeah.
are so mean. They're actually
Nice
you know,
guys.
they're just chill. Yeah, they're so
Yeah.
cool. And then they make them sound so horrible. It's like, come on, Kenny.
Yeah.
That's because they're cussing at people and flipping off the cameras and shit.
It's different.
Yeah.
They kind of got to stop
They're
that.
mad about it.
Throwing shoes. And well, this is what's funny.
Throwing shoes.
So Crone, remember when Nate threw a shoe, or Nick threw a shoe? Remember that? He threw a shoe at God, he took his shoe off and threw it at somebody after Nate lost a fight. They're crazy, and they're always throwing something.
You know, before we move on off the topic, dude, I like that he kept insinuating that somebody in his camp was spying.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
don't-
right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
kept saying, I don't know how he knew what I was going to do from that position. It's kind of funny. It's kind of weird.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I will say this, though, that a lot of people knew that he was hunting for leg locks. A lot of people said that to me.
My grandmother called me and said he's gonna go. He's gonna slip under to X guard and get a knee bar, huh? And I was like,
How'd you
"Yeah,
know that?
Granny, you're right.
That's right, Mima.
Yes,
He does
most
do that in
likely
the
to
fight?
do that.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, he
I haven't
macaco.
had the opportunity.
He gave up his back a lot trying to roll.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but St. Pierre always had it blocked, like every
Wow.
time. So it was
See,
like,
I hope it wasn't. They should fight again.
yeah. So Crone Gracie, Hickson Gracie's son, has been hanging around Nick and Nate and Gilbert and these guys, and so he was in Nick's corner, and I guess Crone Gracie had words for Braulio Estima, because Braulio Estima is a high-level jiu-jitsu guy who Nick was supposed to have a jiu-jitsu match against last May, and then Nick didn't show up. It was a big ordeal. Braulio's gotten into MMA, and I guess Crone is like training for it, working towards it, and I guess Crone at the press conference told Braulio, like, he called him like a mother effer, and he said something, I'm paraphrasing, something of like, don't get jumped outside tonight, or something like that.
Fuck?
Yeah, like he's turning into a 209 guy.
No, that's good advice for anybody. Like I will tell you both right now, don't get jumped when you leave here. You just shouldn't get jumped. That might be good advice.
Sean, I didn't even think about that, dude.
Yeah,
Thanks
you're
for
welcome.
looking out for me,
You're
buddy.
welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
think about that either.
Exactly.
I could
That's
have
sound
totally
advice.
gotten out and got jumped by a bunch of dudes.
Sometimes I'll just tell people things like don't get shot today. You know what I
Holy
mean?
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Dude.
I just impart knowledge. You
I was
know?
gonna leave
That's
without
true.
I was gonna leave without body armor, dude.
Yeah.
Now I'm totally gonna go put it on.
You should.
Don't crap your pants. That's another big one.
Oh,
That's good advice,
Yeah.
actually.
That's really
you can
good.
just do the best you can with that one. You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
you know
sometimes
what
you're going to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens all the time.
Especially if you eat in Chinatown. We had a pretty awesome experience eating Chinese food.
Never have Chinese food and a glass of milk.
In San Francisco?
Bad combo.
Oh, it's so bad.
Actual Chinatown?
Yeah.
Because you say Chinatown, I'm like, you went to Dave Wong's, you know.
No.
Welcome to
It's San
Chinatown,
Francisco.
bitches.
This,
Take a talk.
the place we went to,
Can we say that on here?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can say whatever
Say
you
whatever
want.
you want.
I'll be fired now.
Clink Clank and Charlie Chan. No, so this restaurant, it's like on the 10th floor of some building. It's like going into like what was that Bruce Lee movie when you had to fight a different guy at each level?
Oh, Game of Death.
Game of Death. That's what it's like, but it's like just to get to the Chinese food, like you have to walk through one of these danky Chinatown stores.
First, you have to eat Swedish food. Then you move up to
yeah.
Armenian.
You're not
food.
ready.
Armenian.
You're not ready yet.
You like
you are not ready.
Armenian food is just like a bunch of fried chest hair, basically. Right? Right? Am I wrong? I'm right. I'm right. I'm right.
You
You're
must
right.
eat all of your chest hair if you want to grow up to be big and strong, like your brother. He eats a lot of chest
And
hair.
then you move up to Chinese food.
Yeah.
The ultimate test.
Yeah. Cooked by like Bert and Ernie. They were Armenian, right? Right?
Like Sesame Street?
Yeah.
I thought they were just gay and
They were gay Armenians.
gay Armenian.
Yeah.
Were they gay?
I
They're
think
gay,
they,
dude. Come on,
they
dude.
spent a lot of time
Two
together.
adults,
They
two
lived
adult
together.
puppets living
Two
together.
Yeah, and they had a dog.
Did they have a dog?
Yeah, they had a dog.
What was their dog's
I
name?
can't remember, dude.
They actually had a dog?
Yeah, they had a dog.
I
So
wasn't paying attention. The best part of that show was Mr. Snuffleupagus that no one could see except the drug addict bird. What was that bird taking? How come no one else could see that big old thing that lived like right behind the building? It's like, hey bird,
Hey, bird.
yeah.
Awesome.
Fucking coming on the show and bringing everybody down and shit.
Yes.
Between Oscar and that fucking dude,
Yeah.
like, dude, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, there's a huge bird who sees an imaginary guy who's on heroin, and a dude who lives in a garbage can. A bum,
You're
He's
a bum.
a bum, a junkie, a giant bird. It's kind of like Stockton.
yeah.
All you need to throw is a homicide car wash.
Got this friend. We're having a car wash for him. Who was he? You guys can't see him. Come on now. Right? Only I can see him. You know what I mean? He's
Right behind you.
he's behind you now.
Don't look now.
Yeah, don't move. He gets nervous.
Oh man. So we went to this Chinese restaurant. We couldn't we went up to one level, we got out, and it was like we walked, it was an empty banquet room, and they looked at us like, what are you doing? There's like three guys. And we went back up to the top, and you're in trouble when you go into a restaurant and the people who work there are surprised to see you there. You know what I mean? They're surprised. They're like, "Oh, you're here to eat."
Yeah.
To eat, right? So they served us, and it was
fire.
like the price. It was so expensive, and it was such dookie. It was dookie.
It's no
dude.
Dave Wong's, I'll tell you that.
Man,
Yeah.
it was weak. It was so. We didn't even get fortune cookies.
You know, I just noticed. I glanced down here, and Tim, you're actually staying right on target. here.
Topic.
This guy
Oh,
is
very
pretty
good.
Smart. I just know. I'm looking. I'm like, hey, he did it.
I'm
You know,
super smooth, man.
You're a lot smarter than I thought.
You're not as dumb as you look,
You
Freeman.
simply became smart. I was born smart. So what happens is we eat at this place, and it's lame. I'm like, not even a freaking fortune cookie. Yeah. So anyway, we go back, we leave, we walk around Chinatown, and it's like the waiter. They have those little hip jackets. You know, they're like red.
Yeah, classy.
Yeah, classy. He's like the same guy 2 shops over downstairs selling smoke bombs to my kids. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Same dude.
Wooden swords.
Ernest had to point out the tantric Buddha dolls to my son Noah.
Felt really bad about that.
Yeah, I'm like,
I didn't realize how anatomically correct they were until I
Yeah.
showed it to him. They
Nice.
had full on vaginas with the penis inserted in it. I'm like, oh fuck.
dude, why
What's
are
the
you?
purpose of that doll?
I thought it was
I
just
don't
like
know.
a booby chick, you know? Like
Yeah.
He's all, hey Noah, look, and then Noah's like, what is that?
Yeah, you could only see it was eye level to an adult, right? So it was just these guys are talking about
No,
boobs
just go
and ass
ahead.
with this kid all day, making boob. I'm like, I don't know if I'd have that humor with my kid, but
yeah.
they kept it to a respectable
It
level.
was very respectable. Don't,
Yeah,
don't,
it was.
don't.
Instead,
do
I'll
that.
show you.
motherfucker.
Oh.
It kept
Instead,
it at
I'll
a
show you the
respectable
2
level.
dolls. Can you swear
Yeah.
on this station? I'm not clear on that because I've noticed that one person swears and the other 2 don't.
Well, it's just a different in class level. You know what I mean?
One's a sensei, 2 are not.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just
Well-
just a Jew.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you
I
say
mean,
that?
I'm trying to have fun.
Look, one of us likes to cuss.
No, say it as Master Ernest.
Yeah.
That's people like that.
When you reach a certain level, you do what you want. When you like to lick another man's anus,
Oh my
you
God.
don't like to cuss. Your mouth already dirty enough.
Oh my God.
What's that from? That's good.
He's just he's just
too.
taking shots at me.
He likes it. He likes it when a man has a little.
Okay,
bit of
come on. Let's move on. What I wanted to get to though is so we went around Chinatown, had a great time.
Right back to the subject.
Yeah.
You're very good interviewer.
My son bought these. I bought them for him. 4 packs, by the way. Ernest bought some too.
Dude, I was amazed. You gotta see these when
These
we're done, dude.
they're like little pop rock things. You should, bam.
You
He
throw
just
they
was throwing them
snap,
out there a
little
second
snaps.
ago.
They're
awesome.
Sounds like a
yeah,
22,
sounds
right?
like a gun.
So loud, dude.
Yeah, he just showed me. He goes,
Yeah.
look how loud these are.
They're so loud.
They are loud.
I was like in disbelief. These guys, they tested one, and I was like, "Hey, what is that?" So you throw these on the ground, and the lady was like, "Yeah, motherfucker." I'm like, because
Yeah.
I kept asking her, I'm
Dude,
like,
she
"That's
Viet
in this
Conged
box?"
up on you, dude.
Yeah, I was like, "That's what's in this box." She's like, "Yeah." Like, there's only like $2. She's like, "Yeah." So you're telling me that loud noise that I just heard with these little things that you throw on the ground, all you got to do is throw them. You don't got to light them. She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "That's what's in this box." She was like getting pissed at me. right?
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
How many boxes did you guys buy? That's in San
I bought
Francisco.
3 or 4.
Yeah. I had to
bought
buy
a
a
bunch.
couple, you know.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
have them. It's always good to have something like that. I don't know why.
Yeah, some kind of small.
I'm gonna take
explosive.
it with me to jiu-jitsu, and like when
Yeah.
somebody's gonna choke me out, I'm gonna bam and throw it, and then I want to get. They have smoke bombs there too, but I think they're too slow.
Yeah.
I
you
need
gotta light 'em.
immediate pop.
Yeah, I need like ninja disappear. Throw it
Yeah.
on the ground.
So my other favorite thing that I saw there was a pair of brass knuckles,
Those
right?
are nice too.
But it also has a blade that comes out right
Just
here,
in case.
so
Yeah, in case you miss your punch.
in case they need you to fill in for a impromptu beat it video that they're filming. So anyway, when we went back to this restaurant to go pee because we had to urinate, and finding a public bathroom in Chinatown is like
Impossible.
impossible.
Yeah, my kid had to go pee, and I asked everybody. I was like, "Hey, do you guys have a restroom?"
No.
Oh, two block down. Go right. I'm like, you fucking kidding me?
They
To
won't
go-
let.
to go to the public park. Like,
Nice.
They would make their great grandmother pee her to pins before they would let
I'm
her
like, where do you-
use
where do
their
you
own
piss?
bathroom. The bucket.
I'll use your coffee can. I was like, cool.
So we went back upstairs into this Game of Death restaurant, and we got out on the. There's like 16 different elevators and 4 different stairwells.
Every time you got on an elevator, you were gambling with your life.
So we get off on the wrong floor and we walk out, and it's like literally we walked into the Chinese Shriners. You know what I mean? It's like all these old Chinese Shriner dudes, like with
Yeah, I don't know what their
weird
part was.
outfits and weird thing. It was I was like waiting for Chris Rock and Jackie Chan to jump out, or Chris Tucker and Jackie
Tucker.
Chan. Yeah,
That's
do
funny.
something, man. It was weird.
Man, where June Tao at, man? Quit playing.
It was fun though. We had a good time.
Yeah,
Real good.
It was awesome.
It was good. I like.
Everybody's pretty tired.
Very tired, man.
Yeah, we kind of took our plan to wear people out a little bit too far.
Oh man, you killed your mic. No, we just had some plans we were making. Hold on a second. Let me fix that for you. Say something.
Something.
There you go, buddy. No, we just
Check,
I've been
check.
trying to get Ernest to Chinatown for like 3 years.
He
Yeah.
just knew I was meant for Chinatown.
Oh, and this guy, he's like a freaking woman, dude. He wants to go in every shop. He has to walk up and down every aisle, touch every trinket, look at every price try on every freaking
Dress.
every Chinese silk robe he could find.
Chinese silk robes. You have a small collection of them in
Yeah.
your closet.
I wanted to look like Steven Seagal, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Fat guy in a kung fu outfit.
Yeah, I love those silk robes.
Yeah, he kept trying to squeeze his foot into one of those ninja shoes.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Tara, do my feet look fat in this?
It's like winos. Remember the shoes you used to be able to buy like at Safeway and like at Smart
Yeah.
Foods? Winos, they call them
Yeah.
the black shoes. Yeah.
Damn,
Punker
that's-
shoes.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're old school, dude.
That's how you know you're from Stockton.
old
Winos.
school and kicked it with minorities.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. You have guys who skateboarded and they wore winos, and guys who skateboarded and they wore Vans, but you were cool if you wore the winos. They were like $8.99 for a pair of
Yeah.
winos.
Yeah.
And then, then you
Yeah,
had
I know
the
what you're
homicide car wash to go to afterwards. I mean,
That's legit.
Hell yeah.
so they don't have homicide car washes anywhere else, really?
I don't know. Well, people kind of, maybe they do, but
We just
people
have a
kind of
lot of
acted
them
like,
here.
you know.
Well, we have a lot here, yeah.
Yeah.
So You know the statistics. How many did we actually have in Stockton last year?
71.
We had 71
71
homicide car
homicide
washes.
car
Only
wash.
71. Oh, how many car washes? Probably 105 because they have ones from years prior. Too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they could start having the missing persons car washes. They have those. We'd
That's
have
next level shit.
thousands.
Yeah, you can even take it to the next level and just print a random picture off of somebody from the
Robbery
internet, you
car
know?
wash.
Yeah.
We'd have
Yeah.
a lot of those.
I got robbed. Did they really?
Oh, they could.
Petty
Hell yeah.
theft.
Victims.
Yeah.
Petty theft car wash? No, we don't have enough car washes. Available.
Not enough water.
Not enough summer.
We'd run out of water.
Yeah, the Delta would.
You can get
run
arrested if you made up a death and was doing a car wash. Could you get arrested for that?
dry. I don't think so. I don't even know if you're allowed to have. I mean, I don't know if they get permits for those homicide
I don't think
car
so.
washes.
Like if I just took that sign out of Matt and like did a car wash and like made $500 for the day,
You'd
like,
have all
could
the
I get in
white
trouble
people.
for that?
Hey, you're onto something, man. But you
Yeah.
actually have to wash a car, though.
Well, no, I don't know. The quality of those washes is questionable.
I think you're right.
I don't know how clean your car really is.
Look, if you did like where you like for spraying insecticide, you put those little the little canister underneath the hose, so it just throws a mixture out. You put some concentrate on there,
Yeah.
then have another hose that just rinses it off.
I'll just take the kids'
Yeah, soap and
jiu-jitsu
water.
class out there and make the kids do it.
Hell yeah,
This is what we're
Fundraiser.
doing for today.
yeah.
Da Vinci's.
You're such a jerk. The last thing before we call Jeremy that I thought was funny is there was one shop in Chinatown, and their claim to fame was that they were an authorized Bruce Lee merchandise, official Bruce Lee merchandise reseller.
No shit.
Yeah, and they had it handwritten on a sign.
They just made that shit
Yeah,
up.
and they had all these Bruce Lee like T-shirts, but then like in the rest of the shop, I'm like, well, what about all the knockoff Angry Bird shirts and caps and like,
No, that's untrademarked.
yeah, it's like it's
Different.
ridiculous.
That's
I
different.
found it. This is the most difficult thing I've had in a long time was not doing my impersonation of a Chinese person while I was in Chinatown. Like I
yeah.
felt the pressure immediately. We got out of the parking garage and we hit the park, and I was like, "It's like we're in China." Like I almost wanted to talk to people in that accent, like just being funny, but I'm
Yeah.
like that's not funny here.
Probably wouldn't be well received. You never know.
So this is how I did it. Like you let a little bit of pressure out of the cap, so you
Yeah.
don't open the soda and it spills all over.
Yeah.
I was just like whispering it to the kids when we were eating, like, you must eat all of your vegetables. You'll grow big and strong like your daddy. You eat some meat. You need to grow big and healthy. And the kids were like, they were trying hard not to crack up.
It was funny, but it was a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
It
there's
was
a lot.
like that fat lady from Poltergeist,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
but
that's
if
what
she
it
was an
kinda-
old Chinese man, yeah.
Into the light, Caroline.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, he's scaring me, man.
You want rice? You'll eat some rice. I give you rice. Have some mushroom. Put soy sauce on it.
So Ernest got me in trouble too last week when you called Ryan Hall a douchebag. Somebody got super mad.
Yeah.
And I got into like a late night Twitter fight with this guy. Because I have insomnia like really bad. A couple nights a week, I'll be up to like 3.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I was up and I'm like, I saw this guy saying all this stuff about like, inside BJJ. I listened to episode 70 and it's the last time they called Ryan and they support Lloyd Irvin and blah, blah. And the guy's lame. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Lloyd Irvin, you fucking dummy.
I know. So
What's
anyway,
this guy's name?
I don't even remember his name.
Oh, he's a douchebag.
So we went back and forth, and I'm like, man, we're trying to get Ryan Hall on. And even when you said Ryan Hall was a douchebag, I'm like, no, he's not, dude. He's cool, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, he didn't want to acknowledge that.
Why did I even say that?
You were just talking.
just talking bullshit, right?
The guy's just lame. So but the guy got over on me because I told him, you must be crazy earlier. Like, you must be crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then we were going back and forth. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay, you're right. I am crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then I replied, I never said you were crazy. And then he, like, replied what I told him. You know when you say you didn't,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, I did say that. Never mind. Like, ha, ha, ha. Have a good night, sir. Thanks for listening.
Zippity doo dah. Hang on.
$1.99 a month. Premium.
Yeah, you get the premium.
So, yeah. Thanks for that, Ernest. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's what you're good at.
That's what
Yeah, I
I
don't
do.
know if you know this or not, but
I don't know if you know this or not, but
Got your own thing?
I got my own thing now.
Yeah.
but I got the bad AIDS now, guys. So you might want to get checked. Hey, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Jeremey Arel. Oh, I need to go to blank slide. Slide. There we go. All right. So we will we'll jump back in, all right?
Alrighty, bud.
And welcome back to the Inside BJJ podcast. We are joined on the line with a very good friend of the program, Jeremey Arel. You might know him as Gerbil if you are a big Sherdog fan. Jeremey is a black belt under the legendary Gordo, and he's the head jiu-jitsu instructor at Great Grappling. And, man, it's a pleasure to have you on. I really enjoy it when you come on, and I was just showing our buddy Sean here your Mentos Diet Coke prank just so he got a feel for who you are. I just feel like that video is just a really good video to show how cool of a guy Jeremey Arel really is.
Well, I'm glad that's the video you chose. What makes you choose that video over, say, the one where the white belt got swapped out for the purple belt on me?
Well, that one's good, but that one they're playing the prank on you. I really like that you're playing the prank on a student, and it's a kid. It's awesome. It's like, hey, look, we can make a video about a really cool omoplata, or we can prank a kid in the class. Let's prank the kid. That's what I like.
The fact that you pranked a child. That's what makes it so great.
It's awesome.
There's a child victim involved. It's hilarious.
So much better.
And what's good, though, is like Jeremey, you can tell he's a really good instructor because he breaks down how he does the prank, like a Mentos, some fishing wire. He's like, Diet Coke. He goes through like great detail to explain it. So.
I got to be honest, I'm going to replicate that prank.
Yeah.
Pretty soon here. Yeah.
Hell yeah. The only thing is the joke's on you because you got to clean that shit up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we did put down like a plastic like throw. We had some left over from when we painted the school, so I just put it over top of that coffee table, and then we just lifted up the whole throw, threw it out.
Oh, nice. There you go. So, hey, I wanted to ask you. There was a big night of fights last night, UFC 158, and obviously, you know, Jiu-Jitsu is a big part of our show, and it is inside BJJ. But you know, sometimes we'll have a whole show we won't even talk about Jiu-Jitsu. But I wanted to get your feedback on it, especially because, like, you know, Nick Diaz is a big Stockton guy. We're based out of Stockton, and blah 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 blah. So it was a big deal for us. But I wanted to get your take on what you thought in terms of like from a Jiu-Jitsu perspective. What did you feel like the highlights were? And then also, what did you feel like the lowlights were? Like, what were the bonehead things, too?
Well, I don't think there were any submissions last night, right? At all.
No, I don't believe there were.
No submission of the night, yeah. The lower part of the card was a little bit of a snooze fest. I mean, I think so. I didn't touch the undercard, much of the undercard, but the fights really seemed to be boring, you know, right off the bat. But then, you know, Hendricks came on, and that fight was awesome. I really liked that fight a lot. Back and forth. I think that, what's the name of the guy who was fighting? Sorry. Hendricks. Who was Hendricks fighting?
Condit. Carlos Condit.
Condit. Yeah, he took Condit down, which is no surprise, in my mind anyway. But I was really surprised by how well Condit did off his back. He kept throwing up submissions. I thought he was going to finish that armbar for a minute. He did a really good job squeezing his knees together, keeping his heel pinched to his butt. But, you know, obviously when you're sweating and getting punched and stuff, sometimes it's difficult to finish those type of things. Hendricks did a good job keeping his arms in, staying in tight. But I think Condit even did a good job striking off the bottom. I thought he had a very offensive guard, and it was really nice to see someone that wasn't just waiting to get punched and reactively, you know, doing arm bars and stuff, although he was doing that as well. I thought he did a really awesome job of, you know, mixing his movement with getting up. And he did get to his feet, I want to say, twice on two different occasions, maybe once or twice more. And I was impressed. You know, getting up from underneath a really good wrestler like that can be really difficult. With your back angle towards the floor, you know, you're in a negative position all the way around. So really impressive that he got back to his feet. I would have loved to have seen that fight be a 5-round fight, because I think this was probably the first time we saw Hendricks have a fight that was not easy for him. You know, we got to see him get a little bit gassed in the third round. And the truth is, if he's getting gassed in the third round against him, when he gets his title shot, I really think that GSP, if he can drag him into that deep water, will probably prevail. Now, I do think Hendricks has the ability to knock out GSP. He keeps landing that overhand left. Just about everyone. Right at the beginning of the fight this time, he landed it as well. And, you know, I'm surprised he didn't win right there. So that was that fight. Let me see. GSP Diaz. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we didn't see a lot of jiu-jitsu in that fight. We did see one standing Kimura attempt. We did see some attempts on getting the Kimura off the back, rolling knee bar that got stuffed. But for the most part, it seemed to me like Diaz didn't really have a whole lot of wrestling. And GSP really abused him in that spiral ride breakdown position where he was on his hands and knees. And it didn't even seem like GSP wanted to stop him from going to that position. That's a really high cardio position to dominate people in. But GSP did an excellent job hopping side to side, keeping the spiral breakdown in, and just working him from there. I don't see GSP as a finisher, so when he said he was going to finish Diaz, I didn't really foresee that happening. I didn't see him submitting Diaz. But, GSP did what he does best. He enforced that distance, worked the jab, and takes his opponents down and smothers them. So, exactly what I thought was going to happen happened. That's kind of my take. I didn't see a lot of jiu-jitsu in that fight. Do you guys disagree?
Yeah, I know. I tend to agree with you. The one thing about the Condit fight that I saw that I don't think I've seen before was and Condit did it twice where he was and I'm trying to remember the exact position, but he actually ran across the cage, the side of the cage, 2 times with his feet and used that position, I think, to go to turtle and then eventually stand up. It was a really weird escape that you could only do with a cage. You know what I mean? And he did that twice, and I was like, that was pretty creative to run through that. With Nick and George St. Pierre, it's just, he was in that turtle position a lot. And you're right, St. Pierre, he jumped from side to side really well. Diaz never got comfortable enough, I think, to really try to roll through properly. I don't know. What'd you think, Mr. Mello?
Yeah, I think there was some tomfoolery in the camp, and I think there was an inside man
who told GS. That's what Nick was intimating, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looked like this is to me. This is the problem with Nick and Nate. They're really good at what they do, right? But when the pressure's on for a fight, it seems like they have a game plan that they insist on sticking on. So, like, rather than doing what it takes to win, they have to win according to what they train. So if that's a Kimura, then I'm doing Kimuras all day, and if I don't get that Kimura, I'm losing. And that's kind of what cost Nate that last fight, where he kept insisting on a Kimura from down, standing. That's all he was doing, and they have tons more tools. You've seen that. They're only using that one tool. And I don't know if weed is a part of that or is it just, I don't know, something in their camp and how they have it in their head, I'm going to win like this or not. And that could be it because, they're kind of got that like warrior drive, like, if I don't win with this move, then I'm going to lose. They have a point to prove to themselves and everybody else. I don't know. They just kind of seems like they get stuck on one thing, maybe one or two things, and they don't use all of their tools when that would actually have gotten them the win. Because if Nick used all of his tools, man, he would have done a lot better. He was kept going for a gogoplata, Kimura, and that was it.
Yeah.
Not stuffing the takedown enough, which I know he can do. He was not using any of his judo, which he's got a lot of like skills, takedowns with judo, but just wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
He started stuffing shots in the third round, right?
Yeah, but why did it take him that long?
Well, he did say in the post-fight interview that he was going to get taken down in the first 2 rounds and let GSP get worn out a little bit. He said that in his post-fight interview in the ring. So I don't know if that was part of the game plan because, it didn't look to me like he really tried that hard to even stop those shots. So I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, you're right. He did say that, and it looked like when he really tried to stuff it, he did. But it's just, what kind of game plan is it? Like, I'm going to let this guy take me down.
It's a shitty game plan. If he studied like his own game, like he would see that's how he lost against what's that weirdo from New Mexico?
Diego Sanchez. He just kept doing the same game plan, and it cost him on the scorecard. That weirdo from New Mexico. The sad thing is I know immediately who you're talking about. Right out of the gate. Oh, Diego. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, so it was an interesting night, and normally Matt is on the program, but he's such a huge Nick Diaz fan that he called in sick today.
His immune system broke down after that loss. He's like, He's got like the beginning stages of like HIV turning into AIDS right now.
So hey man, you've been on before, doing segments and stuff. But and I think the first time you came on, we talked a little bit about your background, but it was really, really condensed. So I wanted to ask you, can you just kind of walk through? I know you have a martial arts background in general, not just a jiu-jitsu thing. So can you just kind of talk about how you got started in martial arts, and then kind of how you got into jiu-jitsu? And I know you started a blog on SureDog, and that blossomed when you moved to Brazil. Can you kind of just walk us through that?
Sure. All right. So I started martial arts when I was very young, 5 or 6 years old. My uncle is also a lifetime martial artist, and he, introduced me to martial arts, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So as a reward for doing well in school, my parents put me in like Ishinryu karate. So I stuck that out for a while, I guess like a year and a half or so. And then, funding became a problem. I didn't come from a super wealthy family, so I didn't get to continue doing that. I did do a little bit of Taekwondo and some Japanese Jiu-Jitsu with my uncle, but never really any ranking or anything because, he was far away. But, I would train whenever I could, train in loosest sense possible because I was very young. But when I did move to South Carolina when I was 14 is when I really started focusing more on martial arts. I started doing Taekwondo more regularly, in a formal class with a couple of my friends. We were training inside and outside of the class together. And we would spar a lot outside of class. There was probably 4 or 5 of us that were, pretty close martial arts friends. Well, when we would start sparring, it was pretty even, and then my friend started beating me up pretty bad. And I couldn't understand why, and then I found out he'd started taking Kung Fu. And so he was taking Taekwondo and Kung Fu.
Oh, and, that's an illegal tactic right there.
Pretty
man.
much a ninja is what you were dealing with, right? He was a certified ninja.
This guy went out and started training a whole other martial art.
I bet you he was tucking nunchucks in his pants, right? Carried ninja stars in his back pocket.
Oh, man. No weapons, but we would beat the crap out of each other, that's for sure.
No weapons.
And I didn't know that he was getting extra training. That was the part. So he had been doing that for a month or so. And
what a bastard!
What a jackass! It sounds like something Matt would have done to Tim. Like, hey, you guys, you want to wrestle?
I've been going to the Lion's Den.
Yeah.
So from there, I decided that I needed some extra training as well, and I found like a Jeet Kune Do concepts class, and I started training there. And I really liked it a lot because we sparred every night. And we were wearing like those foam dip gloves and just like all out MMA type style, like beat the hell out of each other. And so I started doing that like 4 or 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. And my group of friends that I would spar with outside that we had originally started Taekwondo together, well, we stopped sparring together because, it got a little bit too intense. We started getting to, 13, 14-year-old, you guys can knock each other around. Once you start getting 16, 17 years old, you get a little bit more of that man strength behind you and a lot more training. You have the ability to hurt each other a little bit more. So I stuck with that Jeet Kune Do concepts, a lot of boxing, kickboxing, and some very rudimentary grappling. My most advanced guard pass was like drive my elbows into their thighs until their thighs open up. I was one of those guys.
Effective against the uninitiated.
Hold on. I think it's funny, like Jeet Kune Do concepts. I was thinking, like, it sounds like a college class, like Kempo Theory and Kempo Lab. Join us for Friday Night Kempo, Rockin' Kempo. That's where we do Kempo in the dark with like glow in the dark with rock music.
UV lights on.
Yeah,
so your gi glows. That's awesome.
Cardio Kempo.
The theory of Kempo. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, the thing with that is you have to be very careful when you mention Jeet Kune Do because their students are just as protective over their lineage as we are over our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu lineage. And the truth is, my instructor was a black belt in Jeet Kune Do, but he kind of left that realm of Pak Sao, Lap Sao, doing a lot of the Wing Chun blocking and stick fighting and stuff. So we changed the name of the school after 5 or 6 years of doing that. So that was my timeline here, right? So right around 2001, we stopped calling it Jeet Kune Do and just started calling it mixed martial arts. And, MMA was still not super popular, but it was becoming more popular. And I had fancied myself a fighter. I really wanted to do MMA. And so I really started focusing more on boxing and kickboxing. 2004, I tried out for the U.S. kickboxing team, the WKA, and I was an alternate because I lost in the finals. Now, I lost in the finals because I got beat from one side of the ring to the other. It was pretty terrible. But my stand-up isn't too shabby. And after that, my instructor came to me, the one that originally taught me Jeet Kune Do concepts, but, we changed the name to mixed martial arts. He came to me and told me that I really need to start focusing on my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or my ground game. And so he told me to go to Alliance of Charlotte in Charlotte, honestly. And so I went over there, and after my first week or so, I realized that I knew absolutely nothing about grappling, like the elbow and thighs type of stuff and the body slamming people out of triangles. And it was insane. Thankfully, they took me in, and I like to train hard. I just needed good direction as far as ground game went, and Louis Togno was that instructor. So I trained there. I spent 18 months as a white belt, training 5 to 6 times a week. I would travel with our instructor down to Greenville and take him to seminars and stuff so that I could get an extra training. So then I got my blue belt after that 18 months. I was a blue belt for 2.5 years, and I was training 10 to 12 times a week. I rescheduled my college classes so that I could train in the day and at night, pretty much full time.
You mean you dropped out of college, you mean?
No, not at all.
It was the right thing to do, because what are you doing with your college degree now? You're training jiu-jitsu, so take that, college.
Well, that's true, but my college education was physical education. So I used a lot of the pedagogy and a lot of the teaching methods for classroom management, specifically with the children, to teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I have the content of Jiu-Jitsu, but I have the process of physical education.
Nice. So take that, Ernest.
And there were a lot of things that I took in physical education that apply to Jiu-Jitsu. I really like motor learning. I really like kinesiology, biomechanics, anatomy, physiology. A lot of those things that are more content-based in the science side, I really enjoyed those things, and I try to apply those type of things to my curriculum and my teaching style when I teach. So, my students get the benefit of having a classically trained teacher, but also someone that, likes to train hard as well.
Sure.
So I got my purple belt right a little over 4 years in, and then I started competing in pro divisions. Louis, my instructor at the time, would make me compete, and my third tournament, I got my meniscus torn in an inverted heel hook, and it was pretty righteous. I got it on video. You can see the head of my knee roll over. I scream and roll around, and then I drag my ass across the ground like a dog that ate something spicy. It's pretty crazy.
Booty scoots.
Righteous. Wow.
Yeah, that was no-gi, and I would say the whole first 4 years that I did jiu-jitsu, I maybe did 5 no-gi days total. We were like all gi, and my instructor, Louis, was the one putting on this tournament, and it was a pro division that he didn't want to pay out the money for, so he made me enter it. And I wasn't prepared for that, so I spent a couple months out for the torn up knee, 2 months really out, and another 2 being really easy on my knee. Thankfully, I didn't need any surgery or anything like that. But, I was a little bit bent up that I wasn't prepared to defend myself. I didn't even know how to defend a heel hook. If you made a top 10 list of things to not do when getting heel hooked, I did all of them. I was bend my knee as much as possible, put all pressure on my knee, grab their head, not roll. It was ridiculous. So when I did come back from that, my instructor was having an in-house tournament. And what he liked to do is charge us all $25 a piece to compete against each other, against people that we were normally training partners with. Yeah, kind of shady, I know. But I was in this in-house tournament, and I was competing against one of my very close friends, and actually he's one of my students now. And I had beaten him a couple of times in competition previously, and I was losing a lot of weight. When I had started jiu-jitsu, I was 253, and by this time I was 225. And so when we started the match, he stepped in to throw me, and I know judo is a legitimate sport. I've seen it. It wouldn't be in the Olympics if it wasn't legitimate, but it was inconceivable to me that somebody could throw me the way that I see happening, in all these matches. And that's probably a product of the fact that I didn't do a lot of stand-up. I never went to really a judo school. And it's probably also a product that I was really fat and it was difficult for people to throw me. So when he stepped across, I remember distinctly feeling my feet sliding, and I was like, oh no. Like, I remember that distinct dread that came through my mind as I realized what was happening. And it was an Ogo Sheetic toss, and as my feet went over my head, I remember thinking, I need to get my back to the floor. And so I started to turn my shoulder, but I only got my right shoulder to the floor. So when it hit the floor, it dislocated my scapula, broke my collarbone, and separated my shoulder. My shoulders clapped against each other.
Oh.
So that was like I'm out of this type of thing. And so that was 4 months of me flipping like a pancake in bed. It was absolutely terrible. So I had two back-to-back injuries. I had the heel hook, and then the almost killed me from the shoulder thing right when I came back. And so I kind of got a little bit pissed off at the gi and my lack of not getting training in no gi. And, like I said, I had kind of fashioned myself an MMA fighter. I wanted to do that. And so I left there and went to a no-gi school in Rock Hill called Charles Hannerbrink Martial Arts Training Center, so MATC. Great no-gi guy. They took me in, and for 2 years I really focused on the no-gi stuff, year and a half or so. After the first 6 months, I became an assistant instructor over there. I was teaching the beginners. And then in the daytime, I would still teach privates in the gi. So I was teaching like 4 to 6 privates a week in the gi, and then training no gi 3 to 4 nights a week as well. So still really into the grappling scene. And then I graduated college. So I graduated college, spent another year kind of just drifting along, teaching jiu-jitsu on the side, making a little bit of money. I started teaching like MMA or jiu-jitsu at a taekwondo school, like, kind of half-assing it, and bouncing at a club. And so I'm sitting in the back of this club. It's a year after college has gone. I've graduated, and this college job was turning into like a full-time job. And I didn't want it to be a profession. I knew that if I didn't do something to change up what was going on, that I was going to get stuck in that. And so I decided just one day that I was going to move to Brazil and pursue the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, I posted out online, started my blog, started getting my visa together, my passport and stuff, and then I ended up going to Brazil. When I went to Brazil, I started training with Gordo. I really started, I've heard a lot of stories about how great of a coach he is, legendary guy, and what really struck me about him as the hands down most important thing is that he is the easiest man to respect I've ever met in my life. The guy that you trained, because one of you guys trained in a seminar with him this weekend, right?
Yes, sir. Yesterday.
Yeah. The way he was at that seminar is the way he is every day. I promise. I wasn't even there. You didn't tell me how he was, but I can tell you that he probably smiled a couple of times. I'm pretty sure he didn't scream or yell at you. He was probably a little bit stoic. But he knows his stuff. And to me, he's just so easy to approach because he's the same guy every day. It's not that he doesn't get happy, because you'll see him smile every once in a while. You see him laugh. He has a good time. But you know what to expect. And when you know what to expect, you know how to approach him. And it just makes interacting with him very easy. The fact that he is a legendary figure in jiu-jitsu is a bonus, because I'll tell you that I respect that man so much that even if he didn't have the accomplishments he has, I would still be his man. I'm going to be Gordo from now until forever, never leaving that team. So I got my purple bar. I had my purple belt. I got my brown belt on the first trip, and I realized, that if I wanted to do this for a living, I needed to move back to Brazil and stay on a more permanent basis. So I moved home. I planned on coming home just for a few months to sell all my belongings and move back to Brazil permanently. In that time at home, I met a woman. She is now my wife.
Amen.
He said, "Kim, man." Sean was with you the whole time until you said, "I met a woman. She's now my wife." He's like, he throws his pen down. Dang it.
Well, let me just tell you that the experiences, my first time in Brazil when I was single and my second time in Brazil when I was not, were much different. If you have a chance to experience Brazil as a single man, it's a wonderful place to be, let me tell you. But I did.
Let me tell you.
I did plan on moving back to Brazil permanently, but my wife now has thrown a monkey wrench in that plan. And so the plan was I let her know when I was leaving and going back. We were just dating at that point. We didn't get engaged until she came and visit me, but she knew when I was going back to Brazil that I was going back and I was going to stay until I got my black belt. And that didn't mean that, it didn't matter if it was 6 months or 5 years. I wasn't coming back until I was a black belt. And, I really had planned financially for the better part of 2 years. I probably could have gone 3 if I really stretched it out. But I was doing really well. That time at home, I don't know, I was concerned that I was going to be worse when I went back, but I had made some really big gains in that 7 months while I was at home. And so when I went back to Brazil, it took me right around 9 months, and I got my black belt. And then I moved back home and opened up my school shortly after that.
And you got your black belt from Gordo, right?
Yes, directly from Gordo. If there's any doubt, there is a video of it. I have an acceptance speech accepting my belt, but we are standing in shorts and bare chested because Gordo does promotions typically twice a year, and they're at a barbecue outside. So they're like, okay, and Jeremey is a black belt, and it's like, yay! Everyone claps.
Pass the tri-tip.
Yeah. If you can understand my caveman Portuguese with my really thick accent, then this is definitely verification that I'm a black belt. If you need more verification, then I just posted a video of Gordo doing an interview at my school and basically telling you the same story that I just told you with a little bit less, of the details, but basically saying I went as a purple belt, got my brown belt, came back to America, went back to Brazil, lived for a year, got my black belt, and that he gave it to me personally, and that he is proud of me, which was really weird because, I don't hear him compliment people very often. So I rewound it and watched it about 15 times so that I can relive the moment.
So what year was this?
For me to get promoted, 2010.
2010. So the reason I asked this because your original instructor Luis, he died tragically in a car accident, right? The year before that.
No, he died a year after that.
Oh, a year after. Okay.
I don't want to say a year after. It might have been. I was a new black belt. Like I came home as a black belt. And I went and saw Lewis. And, Lewis and I had our differences. He was unhappy that I had left, obviously Alliance and started doing some no-gi and stuff. But when I started to plan to move to Brazil, man, he really turned around and realized that, I wanted to do this for a living and that it wasn't anything personal against him or anything like that. And we had buried any problems that we had long before he died, like a year and a half before he passed away. I would say we were very close friends, and he supported me and everything. When I went to open my academy in Fort Mill, he was still running his academy in Charlotte and then in a neighboring suburb. And I asked him if it was cool, and he gave me his blessing to open up in Fort Mill. So, there was no animosity between us at all when he passed away, and it was a real bummer. I wish I could push a button and have him back. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough thing to deal with, especially like I was just thinking about in jiu-jitsu, the people that you train, especially your instructors and the people that kind of are ahead of you that help kind of bring you through it. You develop such a tight relationship with them, regardless of like jiu-jitsu politics or whatever. To lose them that's a pretty rough. I imagine that's a pretty rough thing to go through.
Yeah, the real bummer is that if he had been wearing his seatbelt, he wouldn't have died. So
yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah. And it was really unexpected. It was a bummer. I had some friends. One of my close friends, he received a phone call that Lewis had been in an accident. He was at the hospital, and when he showed up at the hospital, he had brought flowers and stuff. He had expected to just go up and talk to Lewis, but he was, for all intents and purposes, he was brain dead. So it was a real bummer.
Yeah, that's a tragedy. Well, I mean, especially like. Young, and he was relatively young in his 40s, I guess. But just when you're healthy and you're active, you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're doing stuff, you just kind of have this feeling that like it's never going to come to an end. You know what I mean? Like there's one guy we train with all the time who's we did a premium with him. His name is Chuck, and he said that when he was young, he would have this idea, like if he was on an airplane and the airplane crashed, like everybody in the plane would die, but somehow he would do some awesome shoulder roll and monkey this way, monkey that way, and he would be the one guy that survived, you know. But
the senior.
Yeah, you kind of think you're. I mean, it's kind of a trite saying, but you do kind of think you're invincible a little bit, you know, and yeah, put your seatbelt on, man. Could save your life.
One of the funny things about that, like when I was a white belt and blue belt, like I said, I would drive them around to all the seminars and, you know, and drive them to Greenville and train with them down there and stuff. So regularly I was in the car with him, and, you know, I'm a very conservative driver. You know, in the military, I qualified for a combat driver's badge. You know, I'm pretty good at driving, and I'm not an aggressive driver. And he used to get on me all the time, like there would be an opening for me to pull out, and I wouldn't pull out. I'd wait for like, you know, a good time to pull out. And he used to say to me, he said, "You see, that's why you're still a white belt, or see, that's why you're still a blue belt. But you drive, you grapple the way that you drive, and because you're not aggressive with your driving, you know, you don't aggressively grapple." And I was like, "Okay, Lewis, whatever, man." Like he's always giving me a hard time.
Sounds like a good instructor.
That sounds like something Ernest would say. So you come back, you open up your own school, and then what? I mean, because a lot of guys, I mean, I think I can't speak for everybody, but I think a lot of people would like to do that, or they have that as a dream. Like the jiu-jitsu dream is to be able to make your living not going and sitting at a desk every day, but you know, being on the mats and doing jiu-jitsu stuff. And so, you know, what kind of advice do you have for people who kind of think that? Because I think that jiu-jitsu probably changes when your livelihood is hinged on it. I would think. I don't know though. I mean, what's your advice for people that kind of have that fantasy?
All right. There are two different aspects that we need to talk about. One, we'll talk about first, and then remind me that there was a second aspect that I want to talk about later. So, the first one is your outlook on doing jiu-jitsu. All right, and it applies to anything, not just jiu-jitsu. You have to make a distinction between the people who do jiu-jitsu because they have nothing else and the people who do jiu-jitsu because they want nothing else. Now, I'm not a really brilliant guy. I'm dead average, but I have good interpersonal skills, and I'm dedicated. I've got a lot of discipline. If I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer, I would be a doctor or a lawyer. I'm smart enough to do that. I'm driven enough to do that, and I'm dedicated enough to do that. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I don't want to do anything else. I'm successful at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I'm a successful person. I would be successful at anything I did. Now, when you start looking at some of these other people, I know some people that are world champions and very accomplished fighters. They go and they open up a jiu-jitsu school because they know nothing else. Maybe they grew up with nothing and they train jiu-jitsu their whole life. That's all that they have. And then their academies are always failing. You go in, the mats are crappy, you know, like they don't have the dedication to the business side of jiu-jitsu the way that they do to grappling. Basically, life is a fight for them, so jiu-jitsu comes very naturally to them. And that's an important distinction, because when you look at your vision of success, it's totally different. For someone that has jiu-jitsu or does jiu-jitsu because they have nothing else, if they made $30,000 doing jiu-jitsu, they would feel successful. To them, that would be them surviving on jiu-jitsu, and that's success. The thought of me having a vision of making it as a monetary value, I would want to go hold my head underwater until I died. Just saying. For me, it doesn't matter if I'm making $10,000, $100,000. I'm always going to be pushing to make my academy the best. You know, we have the best mats. I make sure that they're always clean. We have a clean, presentable training space. When parents bring their kids in, I want them to have the feeling, hey, this is where I want my kid to train because it's the best. And so I'm always striving not to succeed, but to excel. Or not to not to survive, but to exceed, if that makes sense. Whereas some people would count success as being able to survive. That's not me. For me, success is being able to exceed or excel. And so we attack the situation totally different. If you're that type of person, that you are an innovator, a go-getter, someone that is willing to work 10 hours instead of for the man for 8, I work 29, sometimes 30 days out of the month. If somebody calls me up and asks me if I want to do a private lesson, the answer is always yes. If they want to do a seminar, the answer is always yes. If you want me on a podcast, the answer is always yes. And whereas someone might be smarter than me, or someone might have more athletic ability than me, someone might have more jiu-jitsu than me, they're never going to outwork me. And that's the type of attitude that you have to have. And in addition to that, you have to have the second aspect, what I told you to remind me about. The second aspect is that there is a clear distinction between fighting, business, and teaching. And typically, you get one. You go to the academy, and the guy is a great teacher, but maybe he's not a great fighter, or maybe he's a good businessman, and his jiu-jitsu and his teaching suck, but his business is doing well. What you'll find is that being business savvy is a rare commodity for some reason. I don't understand why. It's not like a secret. You can see how other people run their businesses, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel when it comes to business practices. If you want to open up your own school, you're going to have to work hard, and you're going to have to market your school. Marketing is one of the most important things, and I'm not one of those big Lloyd Irving, I'm not going to overwhelm you with marketing. But if I have 2 or 3 extra hours in a day, I'm putting flyers in mailboxes. If I have 30 extra minutes, I'm writing a description for one of my videos and uploading a video. If I have a Sunday where I'm not teaching a seminar or I'm not out of town, guess what? I'm filming videos. There are constantly ways that you can market yourself for free, and it just takes time. So as a business owner, you have 2 different what is that called? Resources. You have money and you have time. Well, when you're starting your business, you have an excess of time and a deficiency of money. So you're constantly putting yourself out there and working. And I'm going to be truthful. For the first 2 years, we're coming up on the 2 years in May, I just drew my first paycheck. So let that resounding silence for a second so that everyone can understand that. There we go.
Cha-ching.
I just worked 1.5 years for free. That's right. And I'm talking 10, 15 hours a day, 29, 30 days out of the month. My body hurts. And you know what? Every day when my students come in, I give them the best experience that they can. I'm on time all the time. We start class on time, professional. We train hard, but we have structure with our training.
First paycheck in 8. Wow. You must have a sugar mama.
No, I wish I did. A lot of ramen noodles, brother. Living in the ghetto. As much of a ghetto as Fort Mill can have, but I don't live in nice housing. I did not eat well for the first 1.5 years. I pretty much sustained myself off of some private lesson money, not a lot of money at all. I definitely could have made more money flipping burgers at McDonald's, but now after 1.5 years, my business can support giving me a paycheck and still make money for itself. Now, when I say that I didn't draw a paycheck, it doesn't mean my business wasn't making money.
Sure.
My business was, but I make a clear distinction between my business's money and my money. If I want a cheeseburger and I don't have money for a cheeseburger, guess what? I don't get that cheeseburger. It's not like I dip into the school's money and use it.
You just shake down one of your students. Hey, tuition's due today. How much is it? How much you got? It's $2.99.
Yeah. So that's, I don't know if that was an answer to your question, but
no, it is.
Owning your own school is really tough, man. It really is. It takes a special type of person to work for yourself, not having a boss right over your shoulder, always keeping an eye on the money that's coming in as well as the money that's going out. And if I can give the best piece of advice, if you are going to do this, buy the best accountant that money can buy.
Yeah, I think that there's this tendency for people to think like, I'm awesome at jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? So that means like I'm going to be awesome at having a jiu-jitsu school. And it just seems like it doesn't.
Totally
it just seems like a good recipe to be frustrated.
Have you ever walked into a traditional martial arts school and you see this fat dude that can't do anything, and you're like, how in the hell does this guy have 500 students? He's rolling around in a Hummer and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Selling weed.
Doesn't take a good martial artist to run a good martial arts school.
It's like, I don't know if you know this or not, Jeremy, but I got my own thing now. I don't do jiu-jitsu no more. I know you've been away for a while in Brazil.
I'm running a kung fu business now.
Oh, God.
So what? Let me ask you this, man, because like, what's your take on? And I don't know the level of students that you have, but as an instructor, how do you feel about rolling with students? And it's inevitable that eventually it will happen. Your guys are they're gonna get good, and they're just gonna get younger and stronger and better, and blah blah blah. What's your take on actually being rolling with these guys and them tapping you out and defeating you? Do you feel like that's not a big deal, or is a big deal, or what's your attitude on that?
Not a big deal, man. If they're not tapping me out, I'm not training hard. For the first year, it was really tough, but there's been a lot of people moving over and training at my school because they see how I train. I put out my first group of homegrown blue belts. I've got 6 that I train from white belt to blue belt. I've got 9 purple belts. Excuse me, I got 2 brown belts, 9 purple belts, 19 blue belts, and a sea of white belts, man. And I roll every day. Obviously not right now because I just had surgery, but I roll every day. I get between 50 and 65 rounds in a week. I usually do 8-minute rounds. Sometimes we'll do some marathon rounds, and I set up my training, so that it's difficult for myself. I got a couple guys who push me, a couple of my purples and a couple browns are really tough guys. If I go a month without tapping, I'll put 3 or 4 guys together, and I'll just, I do this thing called choose your position. So I let them choose their best position, and then we go until I get out, or, I sweep them, get on top of them, and then they go to the end of the line. And, if I do that for 30, 45 minutes, it doesn't matter if you're a world champion black belt, man, you're going to want to vomit.
Yeah.
If I just am buzzsawing these guys and I can't, get a good workout in that way, I'll start them on my back with a forearm under the neck, whatever it takes to make me struggle. I don't want my students to look at me like I'm this mythical beast that's, beyond obtaining. I want them to just realize that, I train hard, and that my skills are a product of my training, and that they can have that as well. And, they're pretty realistic with what's going on. So.
Well, and okay, so the other side of that is competing, and I don't know how often you compete. Well, obviously, since you've had surgery, you don't probably not competing, recently. But what's your stance on? And I think I know what you're going to say, but because you're a pretty level-headed dude and you're pretty reasonable about your approach, but competing and then losing in front of your students too, like is that ever an issue? Just ego for your ego, or how do you handle that?
I've never really been the best competitor. White belt and blue belt, I had mixed results. As a purple belt, I didn't lose for about 2 years. I had a really good run as a purple belt. But brown belt, not a lot of success, and I've had decent success as a black belt. I won that one match at the Pan Ams in 26 seconds, and I won this local tournament here. Basically, I worry that I'm going to embarrass myself. There's a lot of mental things that go on here, mental toughness. You got to have game and stuff. Man, I'm not that guy. I get out there and I compete to keep it real. My students need to see me win, and you know what? They need to see me lose too. They need to see how I deal with that. The reality of the situation is that if you compete, you are going to lose. It does not matter how good you are. There are winners and losers. There's only 2 people on the mat, and someone has to be a winner and somebody has to be a loser. And I think it's a good learning situation for my students when they see me lose. Now, none of them have seen me lose in person. I've been lucky enough. I've only done one competition in the last 2. I did the Pan Ams, and then I did the New Breed last year. And I got surgery a week ago, so I haven't been competing a lot because of that. But I'll probably compete 2 or 3 times a year. But when that moment comes that I lose in front of my students, you know what? I'm going to do it with dignity. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go back to the academy. I'm going to keep on training business as usual. And I would expect my students to do the same thing. You gotta be a good winner and a good loser.
Yeah, my main thing is just to blame the ref.
Tim's a pretty good loser.
Yeah, I'm a fantastic. Jeremy, let me tell you something. I have taken the burden of losing off of the jiu-jitsu community. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about being the guy that loses all the time. I'm that guy. I'll be that guy. You know what I mean?
Strongest
Yeah.
Tim with the force, but not that strong.
I've taken that burden. I'm bearing that cross for all of the jiu-jitsu community. That's me. No, but it's just interesting to hear because some instructors, that you hear them talk and they come across like, your student can never tap you ever training in the gym.
Sensei Mello.
No, Ernest is not like that at all. Ernest will give you stuff and then he'll berate you if you don't tap him. Like if you don't take it, then he's like,
And then he'll smash you.
yeah. Or the other thing is, they have this philosophy that says, like, if you compete, you have to win. And so then they just don't compete very much. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So it's like, that's not that great either.
I count my wins in the academy. So like,
yeah.
I have a pretty good record.
You and Hickson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Street
I
fights.
I'll never be that guy that doesn't compete. I'll always compete at least once or twice a year, just to keep my name relevant so my students can see it.
Sure.
But really, the reason that I don't compete more than that is, especially right now, is every time that I step on the mat, it's a gamble. I just told you 2 stories about me getting injured. One was my meniscus. One was my breaking my shoulder. I broke my ribs twice in competition. And every time that I compete is a gamble on whether I'm going to get injured. And I can't afford that right now because who would teach my students,
Yeah. Yeah, that is another concern.
There won't be a second paycheck.
Yeah. It's like,
Right.
Back to Ron.
Yeah, so I mean, I got to compete so that they can see me do it, but I got to be real with my business situation as well. There's no one that can take over for me at this moment. So
You thought about getting on
probably better if I
steroids?
don't get injured.
Steroids are a good way to stay
Yeah.
injury free.
When I was in Brazil and I broke my ribs for the 4th time, and not while I didn't break them 4 times in Brazil, but I broke them for the 4th time while I was in Brazil. I got pretty upset about that, and I went and saw a doctor, and he actually prescribed me some steroids.
See?
Yeah, and I had blood work done. I wanted to do it legally and stuff, so I went to a pharmacy to fill that prescription, and they didn't have any to give me, or they didn't have enough. And so I went to 11 pharmacies, and none of them had enough to give me that I'd been prescribed. So I started freaking out because I've never done any steroids or anything like that. So I started asking around, like people, like, hey, is this a lot of stuff to be taken? And they're like, no, I take this at one time. I'm like, holy
wow.
shit. So it wasn't a lot. And the funny thing is, if I had wanted to take steroids illegally, like I could have made a phone call and they probably could have been delivered to me, no problem, and like in 15 minutes. But
could just take
because I
Valtrex.
wanted to go, because I wanted to have blood work done and have it done through a doctor and make sure that I wasn't going to get injured or anything like that or hurt my body. I never actually ended up doing it. I never got it. So I'm still steroid free, and I don't foresee that changing anytime in the near future.
Do you still have that prescription? Because I don't know if those are transferable or not. I'm just maybe we could talk
They
offline.
are not transferable,
No?
and it was in Brazil. So unless you want to fly 7,000 miles to go get it.
And Tim really needs it. I don't really advocate marijuana use or steroids, but for Tim, I think he should be on both.
At
Calm
our
your
academy,
nerves and get juiced.
yeah, at our academy, they advocate Valtrex use to stay injury free. It's worked so far for most of us. So.
Yeah.
We actually, Jeremy, it's so bad. We have a guy there. His nickname is Prince Valtrex. That's his nickname.
Oh God!
It's just the joke is that the stronger you are, the more Valtrex you're taking. It's just a joke.
Darth Valtrex or
Makes you invincible. You take 2 Viagra and 5 Valtrex.
Oh,
and
man.
you can conquer anything.
Hydroxycut and Valtrex, hydroxy Valtrex. I don't even use protection when I have sex anymore. I just use Valtrex. You're good.
One of the
You have a topical spray. You just spray it on.
one of the things
It's like it's a Valtrex Viagra
Valtrex mist.
stay hard cream.
cocktail.
Valtrex inhaler.
Valtrex. One of the things I wanted to hit you up on is you, and I'm just going to pretend that we didn't even say that part.
I have herpes. Herpes doesn't have me.
you have quite a few colored belts under your, training under you now. And one of the last times we talked, you kind of hinted at like there's different regional styles of jiu-jitsu. And I wanted to ask you a couple things. One is when you're creating your standards for belts and who gets promoted when and blah, 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 obviously a school can set standards. Like, and it might be and some of it is based on your attendance. And then other things are maybe your competition record, what you can do in the club, what blah, 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 all those things. And that's fine within one school. But then when you go from school to school, the standards start changing and the scale starts sliding a little bit. And I wanted to ask you, what's your opinion on that, given that there is a different regional influences in jiu-jitsu and different places kind of do things a little bit differently. How do you kind of reconcile that? And how do you feel like as an instructor when you put a brown belt on a guy or a purple belt or a blue belt that no matter where they go, they can represent that belt level well? Obviously, they're not going to tap everybody all the time, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Well, first, let me just be super clear and say that I have promoted 0 brown belts, and I've only given out 3 purple belts. And the purple belts, one of them was a blue belt for 12 years. And yeah,
that's not sandbagging.
One of them,
Come in.
yeah. Well, the problem, and let's talk about the regional styles first, and then we'll get into promotions in a second. So the brown belts that I have, one of them came from Lewis when he passed away, and another one came from another school. The majority of the purple belts that I have, came from other places as well when I opened up. The landscape as far as jiu-jitsu has been kind of rocky in Charlotte. So I'm very lucky to have the students that I have, but I don't want you to think that I'm pumping brown belts and purple belts in the 2 years that I've had my school. So with that being said, the reason that I think that there are some regional differences in styles of jiu-jitsu is based on the spread of jiu-jitsu. So if you look at like our area and my school specifically, we have 1 black belt. That's me. Now, I am very good at close guard and half guard. I would say I am world class at those 2 positions. I am mediocre at the rest of them, but I'm good at imposing my game as well. So, I have a lot of success with those 2 positions. Now, it makes a lot of sense for my students to also have success in those 2 positions above and beyond maybe open guard or spider guard. Now, I won't say that I don't do open guard and spider guard because I do, but I don't do them with the proficiency or with the success rate that I do with my close guard and my half guard. So my students are very interested in everything that I do when I grapple. If they're not in for a round, they like to watch what I'm doing. And we're creatures of imitation. So when they see me doing something, they see me having success, they do that and they replicate that, and it's kind of fun, man. It's like having a bunch of little kids. Like they all start having the same type of game that you have, and I really have to force them outside of my game because not everyone has the same body style as I have. Not everyone has the same demeanor that I have. Hell, I don't pull out into traffic when I could sometimes. So,
Bro.
I don't have an overly aggressive style of jiu-jitsu. And that's not right for all of my students to have, but it makes sense that our games would be similar. So now, if you think about our area in jiu-jitsu, Lewis and Joe Hurst, another black belt in this area, they were here first, and they really had a lot of influence on a lot of the instructors that are around this area. So if Lewis was very good at loop chokes and choking people with their kimono and close guard, it makes sense that I am as well, and then it makes sense that my students are as well. So it takes an influx from someone from another region or from somewhere else to come in and do that. Now, when you go to Brazil, that's not really a problem because if you're in that academy, there were 26 black belts one day in our academy in Brazil. So if you have 26 black belts, some of them are going to be world-class at close guard. Some of them are going to be world-class at guard passing. Some of them are going to be world-class at knee on belly. And as an upcoming practitioner, if you want to work on something, you find the person that is good at what you want to work on, and you ask them about it. And in America, we don't have that. So it's not that I'm hiding techniques or stuff. It's just that I'm not as good at spider guard as I am at close guard. And as jiu-jitsu continues to expand and we have more elite-level teachers, more elite-level grapplers, then it will be a more even view of what jiu-jitsu, of what the game looks like. And I think that in California, that's starting to happen as well, and in some other places. But for right now, the rural areas that don't have a lot of black belts, we gotta deal with what we get, you know?
Yeah. So what influence then does online videos, like the Mendez brothers have their own school or online presence? Marcelo Garcia has got his own thing, and then there's, you know, guys like yourself who are prolific in putting out online videos, you know, on a regular basis, where you're showing techniques, and the feel that I get when I watch you, you know, do one of your videos, one of your instructionals, is that you're not just parroting something you saw somewhere else. Like, oh, I saw this guy do spider guard or do this half guard sweep, I'm just gonna do a half guard sweep exactly the same. You know, you're adding your influence over that technique, right? Maybe you're highlighting things that you think are important, or things that, you know, are unique to yourself as an individual. But once you put that out there on YouTube, it goes beyond being regional, and it goes to being like everybody can see that, and so it starts to have a higher impact. I mean, would you agree with that, or do you think there'll be less of a regional influence as people kind of gravitate more to the online stuff? Or,
you know, there's a couple aspects to that. One, not every region has a black belt. There are some places that people don't have black belt training. There are some places where their instructors are more interested in doing the hot competition techniques than they are in building a good foundation. My videos, you know, although I put up some cool, flashy stuff, for the most part is some meat and potatoes jiu-jitsu. And there are little things that can be, you know, emphasized that will help make the moves more successful. So when I set out to make these videos, what I wanted to do was create videos that told people all the things that I wanted to know when I was a blue belt. Like scissor sweep, for example. Scissor sweep at white belt was terrible. Scissor sweep at blue belt was okay, and then purple and brown, it went back to being terrible. And now as a black belt, man, I scissor sweep the crap out of people. And it's funny, like good purple belts, you know, some brown belts and stuff, I can scissor sweep them. And it went from being a technique that was poop to technique that was good. And it was just, you know, a few details that I had been missing. And if somebody had said, hey, this move doesn't suck, you suck, instead, and shown me what I could do to make the technique better, that would have been great. So I don't want it to seem like I'm going out there and I'm trying to do this prolific thing, like really provide for all these people, you know, and stuff. I'm just trying to talk to the blue belts across America and give them a foundation that maybe that they don't have at their school. I also want a resource. I know that an instructor can really only teach one thing, two things a day if your students want to retain that. And there's so much content in jiu-jitsu that, you know, if you're having trouble with half guard and maybe you guys are working on knee on belly right now, you might not see that half guard sweep or that half guard position that you've been wanting to ask questions about for another year. I want to make it easy for you to access that content. So I'm just trying to make a library that people can reference. Maybe they're like, oh, that sweep didn't work for me. Why didn't it work for me? Maybe you can get a couple tips from my videos. Maybe you don't have any tools at all. Maybe you just want to brush up. But I do have to encourage people, there's nothing that beats repetition. You cannot get good at physical education or jiu-jitsu by watching. You can only get good at those things by doing.
By doing, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you. I just wanted to get your take on because a lot of people, I think, they get in their little bubble and they don't realize that, like, you know, jiu-jitsu, the styles can be obviously it's not going to be a radically different martial art. It's not like you're going to go to jiu-jitsu in Texas and they're going to be wearing cowboy boots and spurs and, you know, doing something completely different, but there is different regional influences, you know, and it's kind of a neat and unique thing, just like there's regional influences on language and the way people say things and dialects and things like that. But, you know, as jiu-jitsu gets more global in terms of its ability to be distributed, right, in terms of people's ability to, yeah, I have my instructor I train with, but, you know, I can go online and watch all these videos, then, you know, influence grows rapidly, and then things get a little bit more homogenized, I think, in my own mind. I don't know.
Homogenized?
Homogenized. I know you don't know that word. Jeremy knows that word.
That's like,
Okay.
that's like
Hey, I like milk.
I only got $2 in my pocket. You just threw out a $10 word.
We
man.
have college educations.
Yes, I don't.
So,
I went to a one school.
what was a one school?
It's a one school. It's a special school.
You mean reform school?
No, we do a lot of car washes.
Homicide.
Yeah. Well, we do them like midweek is to raise funds for the school and our field trips, and then the weekends for our dead homie.
Our dead homies. Yeah, nice. Yeah. So, on your videos, man, do you ever get? I mean, what kind of feedback? Most of the time, I think you get positive feedback. I would think, but do you ever get anybody that criticizes it, like your scissor sweep sucks, Jeremy, or that's not how you do a helicopter sweep, or whatever?
Yeah, I get that. And you know what I do? I ignore it.
It's a lot more
Straight
fun.
up, I just
It's a
ignore
lot
it.
more fun to play along, man. I'm gonna put out a rubber guard video.
I do look at all of that stuff every time somebody writes a comment. I look at it, and I do. The first thing I do is I look and see if it has any validity. A lot of times in jiu-jitsu there are different ways to get to the same path. Usually, if my hand or my hands or my feet are in particular places, there's a reason for that. And a lot of times when people say, hey, your hand isn't in the right place there, a lot of times my hand is in the place that it's in because I've learned through experience that, if it's in another place, I'm in trouble. So,
yeah,
whatever.
I hear you. I mean, do you ever feel like trolling people, like just putting out a technique that's completely like oddball or strange? He's all, yeah.
Yeah, I have. I'm not going to give away any future pranks that may or may not happen.
And at the end of the video, I throw a Mentos in their soda.
Nice.
Did you guys see the hip bind technique?
The hip bind?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that. Is that
Well, then you should watch that one because it was my attempt to make one of my videos go viral. It didn't work out as well, so it did get some pretty good press, though. I won't ruin the surprise in that video for you if you want to check it out.
I'll check that out. What was funny is
it is.
Some of Jeremy's students played a trick on him where they blindfolded him and they put boxing gloves on him, and they made
tied my feet together.
Yeah, they tied his feet together. They made him believe that he was gonna have like a match against a white belt, right? But then the white belt guy jumped out, and I believe it was a purple belt guy that jumped in.
Yes.
Yeah. And then proceeded to do purple belt level jiu-jitsu on a guy that's expecting a white belt dude to come up against him. That was actually pretty funny because you got trolled on that one.
Oh, dude, it happened too. And the funny thing is, everyone's giving me a hard time. They're like, how did you know that it wasn't a different guy? Because he was in no gi, and the guy that challenged you was in the gi. I was like, dude, I had boxing gloves on my hands, and I was wearing a toboggan pulled down over my eyes so that I couldn't even feel anything on my face. And then by the time the toboggan started slipping up, I was freaking out that this white belt was about to crush me in front of a bunch of people after we jumped back and forth to each other.
That's nice. That would be a little bit...
I must point out, the purple belt did not tack me. Oh, man.
You start throwing fake punches. If this is a real fight.
So one of the things that I want to hit up, and you could address it however you want or choose not to address it, but recently there was an article of some kind. I don't even know what the backstory is, how this thing came out, but basically there's a dude that's accusing Jeremy. I think he accused a couple other dudes too in the area of being a jiu-jitsu fraud. And one of the things, and you kind of alluded to this about the Jeet Kune Do community. The jiu-jitsu community is really, really self-policing, like almost to a fault, almost to a point to where it goes a little bit overboard. But it's one of those, one of these communities just tight knit, and in every town, like one of the phenomena in Stockton is that everybody says that they know Nick Diaz or they train with Nick Diaz because he's a local guy. But the guys that actually train, like, we have a pretty good grip on who's actually training and who's not. And 90% of the people that say they train with him or whatever, that they don't. And so it's very self-policing, and people will out like, you're lying or whatever. But so recently somebody came up and basically said that, Jeremy's a fraud, questioned your black belt from Gordo. so they wrote an email to Gordo. I haven't heard a reply back from him yet about this, and it was silly to me, but I wanted to get your take on that. Kind of, you can just explain the incident and what kind of where you're at with it.
All right. So here's basically what happened. I am on Sherdog regularly, and I got a private message from a guy that said, hey, you might want to look into this. There's this guy saying some questionable things about you, and I want you to get a beat on this before it gets out of hand. So I go to this site, and I start looking at this. It's on a site called, I think it was Screaming Reviews or something like that. And he has a write-up. Hold on one second, guys. All right. So he has a write-up about a couple of the other area instructors and then about me as well. And he's saying that I'm a fraud, that most blue belts could tap me out, that I bought my black belt, that there was no way that I could actually be a black belt, and that he emailed Gordo and was asking Gordo if I was indeed a black belt, and that if it came back that I was a black belt, that he was going to suggest getting me retrained because I had questionable lineage and that my jiu-jitsu was terrible, and just going on and on about this stuff. It was like 3 or 4 paragraphs of just like nonsense. And I was like, how can this happen to me? Like out of all of the people on the internet that provide content and stuff, like I documented everything so that not solely with the purpose of having this shit not happen to me, but with I did not want this stuff to happen to me.
Sure.
And so I got on the forum and I was like, hey guys, what's up with this? And okay. And so I was like, hey, what's up with this? And so the forums pretty much imploded, which I knew they would, because anything that you put a title on that says fake black belt is going to get people to click on it.
Yeah.
And so they started digging into this guy. And all right, so this guy owns this site, and he posted this article about me. And so everyone's posting on his site saying it's not true, and he's like saying that he didn't post the article, that he's just the moderator. And so I have a friend that's a professional hacker, and he did some back searching into this stuff, back tracing. Yeah, but that was a internet reference. Anyway, so they did some searching into this, and it turns out that this guy owns 3 or 4 other websites. They're all hosted on the same server. And then, he was posting and defaming me also in a Renzo Gracie closed forum and talking junk about me and how I bought my black belt and stuff. And so they questioned him about it. One of the forum members questioned him about it, and the guy's like, he's not a black belt. And the other forum member is like, well, he blogged the whole time between purple belt and black belt while he lived in Brazil. And this guy says, yeah, well, I lived in D.C. for 2 years, and I blogged while I was there. That doesn't make me the president. And I'm like, what? Like, it didn't even make any sense. And so I'm starting to get angry, because now he's trying to play the "it wasn't me that posted it" card. It was some other guy. But he had his Renzo Gracie forum linked straight to his LinkedIn account that goes right back to the guy's house. And then he has all these other reviews on his bullshit site, basically. There's no nice way to say it. And so they start checking into like his other reviews and stuff. They find where the guy lives, and it started getting out of hand. I had to tell people, hey, don't worry, it's not that big of a deal.
They're going to his house and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need any of that, man. Yeah. I was just making sure that when you Google Jeremey Arel fraud, the first thing that pops up is not his website.
Sure.
Google is a really powerful tool, and I spend a lot of time building an online presence and being a contributor, and I just don't need that negative press. So the fact that, that thread is up and he took down that article, that's really cool. I did have a couple, the professional internet security guy, he put together a report for me. It's 11 pages. It goes into all the connections, where this guy's posting from, where everything is hosted together, and pretty much connects all the dots. I am seeking some legal counsel on that. So hopefully, no one does anything stupid. I don't want anyone to harass this guy because I'm just going to let the legal system do it.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous though that like why of all people would he target yourself? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. The timing on it was really goofy as well because I had surgery like 5 days before, so I couldn't even walk, never mind grapple. And so for him to call me out like that, and the stories that he's saying that he was saying on that review and stuff, they had some language of some of my competitors in the area. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was put up to it by someone that is in our community that is a little bit pissed off that my business is growing well and that, we're being successful. So, like I said, I'll turn it over to the authorities and we'll let them deal with it,
Talk about dirty politics.
I think if we dig deep enough, we'll find that it's actually Lloyd Irvin player hating on you.
There were multiple people that said that.
If I'm going down, this motherfucker going down too.
It could be
take the heat off of him.
I'm taking some motherfuckers with me.
The thing that kills me is if this guy was going to write about someone, like he was trying to bring traffic to his website. If he was going to write this about someone, why wouldn't he Google my name first? Because I am the first, at least 100 responses. I mean, on everything from your guys' website, BJJ Heroes, rate my BJJ instructor. I've written for Fight Podcast. I've written for, in the Guard. I've interviewed for all those people. I'm like a moderator on BJJ.org. I'm content producer for a lot of different websites and stuff. Like, could he have picked somebody that had less of an internet presence?
Right.
I mean, like, really?
Yeah, the one guy I'm gonna pick out and say is a fraud. He has about 3 million videos on YouTube of him demonstrating like good, clean, like jiu-jitsu techniques. You know what I mean? And he's got a black belt from one of the most respected guys in all of jiu-jitsu who doesn't just hand out black belts. And I'm pretty sure he only has 2 American black belts, right? And you're one of them. It's pretty easy to verify that kind of stuff. That's not, it's that's the sign of an amateur, actually. Yeah. You don't have to.
Never mind the fact that I brought Gordo up here last year. We went go-kart racing, and like he did a seminar at my academy. Never mind the fact that I've traveled to Virginia and, he actually asked me to teach at one of his seminars and stuff. Like, so like, I could literally find, this is not exact, I could literally find 300 black belts that I have interacted with one-on-one that would vouch for me being a black belt under Gordo.
This is like a bad, like, scrapped Scooby-Doo plot, like in the end he's going to be like, my business was doing great until that damn Jeremey Arel moved into town. Mystery van. Fred and Wilma are going to figure it out for you. I mean, the thing about the jiu-jitsu world, which it kind of sucks, is that, and I think I'm right. I mean, I could be wrong, but the pie that there is for all the jiu-jitsu people
Did you say pie?
to make their living off of is not very big. And so it's almost like there's a dark side where instead of trying to go out and grow the community, people try to cannibalize the community.
Yeah.
And they end up just shuffling money around. But it doesn't, it doesn't benefit me to grow my business by defaming you and hurting you.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't. In the long run, I don't believe it does.
Well, here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, and when I said advertising, you have to advertise, exactly what you just said. The jiu-jitsu community is more about stealing already made jiu-jitsu practitioners than they are in getting new ones and making them.
Exactly.
So while the local guys are fighting over what blue belts or what purple belts are going to train at their academies, you're gonna come train with us, I'm more concerned with signing up 2 or 3 white belts and making a blue belt or making a purple belt. And so what ends up happening is, at first it's tough. I got a bunch of white belts and the intermediate belts didn't want to come over. And then as I start building up and I start getting more people, I have the nicest facility and I teach very well. And so now I have the most students as well. It just makes sense for them to come train here. It's like, I've never called another student from another school and been like, hey, why don't you come train here? I've never, like a student, when they come visit me, I never say, hey, you shouldn't be training over there, you should be training. Never, ever, ever do I do that. I always encourage them, to enjoy their training. I try to give them a good training experience. And then I plan on sending them back to where they came from. It puts me in a really weird spot when, a purple belt or a brown belt comes up to me and is like, hey, I don't want to train where I'm at anymore. I want to train here. So, like for the first year, I told people no. I was like, hey, you can't do that. You can't train here. You got to stay where you are. But, what am I supposed to tell these guys? They're not owned by their instructor, and I don't own them. And, I run a business, so it's like, what am I supposed to tell these guys? No, you can't train with me forever. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, yeah, I hear you, man. If you have somebody who is an adult and they, out of their own choice, they want to come train with you, that's a different story. If you run a better business or a better curriculum or a better setup, or for whatever reason somebody has their personal reason where they want to train with you, then that's just business, and people are going to have it sucks if you're the guy that's losing the student, but you could accept it versus somebody's like, bought a domain name and is like trying to game Google so they can make you out to be a fraud, because he's not.
Who are you talking about, dude?
What?
You're being very specific with your references.
I'm talking about this guy that did this to him.
Wow.
Yes.
What are you talking about, man?
Have you been checked out, man? Were you in the same room with us while we were talking over the last hour?
So yeah. So let me ask you this then: where do you see yourself in your school in the next 10 years? What do you have planned for Great Grappling?
So we're at Great Grappling 2.0 right now. So in the first year, I opened up a school, outgrew that school, and had to go into another school. I would assume that we'll probably be in this school for another 2 to 3 years while we build up students. And then we'll make a jump to a bigger facility, 10,000 to 12,000 square feet. Right now I have 180-ish students with about 100 really active students that are in classes day to day. I think we can house about 600 where we are. My guess is in the next 3 years we'll get to that 600 mark, and then we'll jump to the next place. So I want to make a regional training center, a lot like Alliance is, a lot like ATT is, a lot like Marcelo and Henzo are. When you go into an area and people are like, hey, where should I train? I want to be the first name off of people's mouths when you're in the Charlotte area. So that's my goal. I want to make a competition team that's viable. I want to make a good school where people want to hang out, not just necessarily Jiu-Jitsu, but just to be part of every day too,
Sure. Yeah. That's awesome, man. I mean, those 600 students, it's a lot of students.
Yeah.
And if you could do it, then I think you could probably start taking a paycheck home on a regular basis. I think.
I hope so.
That buys a lot of Mentos and a lot of Diet Coke. That's for sure. I can only imagine how elaborate Jeremy's pranks get, right?
Doing that prank on adults.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also not one of those guys that needs to get rich. As the school grows and we increase revenue, I'll hire people on and pay people. I'm not beyond spreading the wealth around. I'm a piece of the machine, not the whole machine. So,
sure.
I realize that investing that money has gotten us. That's why we grew so quickly in that first year. If I get $10, I don't want to take that $10 out and go buy dinner with it. I want to buy flyers. I want to buy, ad space. I want to get the cars wrapped. I want to do something to grow my business, and that will never change. I'm always going to be looking to grow the business.
Right on. And hey, before we jump off, what do you have anything coming up next? Any seminars or anything you want to highlight, throw out there?
Man, I wish. I just got that knee surgery, and I got complete ACL reconstruction and meniscus repair. So I can't really walk yet. I'll be out for 2 months. I have a friend of mine from Brazil up here helping me out, teach classes between now and then when I can start walking again. When he goes back to Brazil in 2 months, I'll start taking over and teaching again. And then it'll probably be another 3 months before I can do some light rolling. So it's really put a damper on things as far as, teaching seminars and stuff, because when I go to seminars, I roll with people too. So after I teach, I'll grab a sip of water and then I'll line people up and roll with them. So if I can't do that, I don't feel like I'm really giving the experience that people want and deserve. So I probably won't be doing any seminars for a while. I will try and start putting out some more videos shortly after I can start moving again. So I've got about 3 or 4 more videos queued up, ready to get posted. I'll spread them out over the next month and a half, which is way less than I normally do, as you guys know. But once I can start moving, then I'll start videotaping stuff, and I'll just try to give back to the internet community while I'm out with this knee thing, you know?
Yeah, maybe do some videos on like how to do this technique when your knee's jacked up and you're recovering from ACL surgery.
Yeah, now that you're like in the middle of an injury, like maybe you can like document exactly how you start to slowly move into and staying active and involved with jiu-jitsu, because that's a question that we get a lot. A lot of students ask me, but I haven't been seriously injured in a long time. I just kind of tell them like what I think they should do. But now that you're in the middle of it, and you know you're pretty good at teaching and stuff. You know, maybe you can actually a good time to like be that guy to have that have that video out how to stay involved, because that's the hard thing for students. They get injured, and then they lose interest, or they try to come back and it's not the same. I always tell people to try to come in on your regular times, even if it's only for a half hour and you leave early, to like don't lose that time slot in your lifestyle, because once they replace it with other activities
like ice cream and girls.
Yeah, then they're like, oh, I want to come back, but I don't have enough time. I'm like,
Xbox.
you had time before. Like,
yeah.
What happened to that time slot? You replaced it, and now you just can't get it back.
Sir, I would just recommend that if you haven't introduced Valtrex into your recovery regimen, you might want to try it. You might want to try it. I'm just saying. That's why we're not injured.
It does work well for the joints. It does. It works well for you.
Prevents pregnancy as well.
So, hey, I want to remind everybody you could check Jeremy out. I believe the website is greatgrappling.com. And your YouTube channel is it GGBJJ? Is that right?
That's right.
All right.
GGBJJ.
GGBJJ. Check it out. Jeremy's got some gangster videos. They're great. Good techniques and good tricks and pranks. And I'm waiting. I know what he's going to do. He's going to get 600 students. He's going to spend like $200,000 on research and development and designing a gi that explodes. And that'll be his big prank. You know what I mean? Like the exploding gi.
Like debt cord in the collar.
Yeah. He goes broke.
It'll be like the donut of death from Coneheads. It'll only explode out, not inside. We'll be okay on the inside.
I only meant to kill one kid, not the whole class. No, hey, Jeremy, it's a pleasure talking to you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and your perspective on jiu-jitsu. I think it's unique, and I want to get your name out there in the community as much as possible. So really appreciate you joining us, man.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
All right. Hey, man, have a good one.
Yeah, bye.
I like that Gerbil. His nickname is Gerbil. That's the nickname he got in Brazil.
I really like, that guy Gordo, he was really, really cool.
It's legit, right?
He was very cool, very humble. He talked about learning and teaching, and he's cool. Yeah, I mean, he's cool. He was just a cool guy, He'll probably come back, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sao Paulo was there as well.
Who?
Sapone?
Sao Paulo from Ocean Beach.
Sapone.
Is that his name?
Sapao. He's good.
He was cool, too.
He's cool.
Really,
He came
really
out to
nice
Crosley's.
guy.
Nice.
Yeah, he was
Who
cool.
else? Nobody else?
There was 3 black belts. It was Crosley, Sao Paulo, and Gordo.
Well, Murphy was there.
Oh, the Murph. I'm sorry.
Right.
Jeez, man. Yeah, Ryan was there too.
Now
He
you're
showed
gonna
up
get
late.
crushed, dude. Oh, now
yeah.
you're gonna. Now he showed up late.
No,
Nice.
we showed up late. I say I.
Yeah.
I said he.
That's not the 209 guys I know.
No, we
You
showed
guys
up
are usually
late.
pretty punctual.
I wonder where they got their timeliness from.
don't know.
Like instructor, like student.
What would happen was we were going to go, and there was an issue.
Emergency poo.
No,
That's usually
we're waiting on the man, so we waited. The llama.
the llama.
We made it on time.
He was
but-
busy polishing his kettlebells.
Yeah, I know. He's like, I never work out. I did 1,000 kettlebells. I said,
Yeah.
I'm like, llama, that's working out. He's just like arm bars me and elbows me across the face.
Yeah.
Dirty little Asian
Thank
guy,
you,
dude.
sir.
I don't work out. Then he sends me a picture. It's like demonic Bobby Llama in his garage doing battle ropes.
I have kettlebells.
Yeah, he has like this 200-pound pit bull that he does like
That's his car alarm.
Turkish bag workouts.
Yeah. He's
grab-
flipping it around.
The dog already knows. Like as soon as Bobby comes out with wearing nothing but his Muay Thai shorts, the dog like submissively rolls over to his back, puts its feet together, picks it up by the front and back legs, starts swinging it around like a bag.
That's
Kettlebell
great,
swings
Ernest.
with the dog.
Yeah, 1,000 kettlebells.
That could be a Bulgarian bag.
Yeah,
He duct tapes the dog's
Bulgarian.
legs and
Yeah, he did. Well, the dog at this point is so well trained that he keeps his feet together for Bobby, so Bobby can hold on to him.
As soon as he smells the liniment,
Yeah, he
he's
smells
like, oh, it's
smells
time.
liniment, and he starts like doing those little dog circles, like jumping in the air and doing circles. Like, yeah, we're gonna work out, or he's gonna work
Wow.
out. I'm gonna
dog's
get
all-
sick.
The dog's all taped up, and the dog's like, bam, and then you just do this move, and you bam, it's right there, bam.
Yeah.
You roll here,
Dog
bam,
stands
that's it,
over
bam.
him. He does mount escapes from him in the garage.
Yeah, you
Like,
come here, and then bam, and then bam.
Yeah,
Okay,
bam.
do it, guys.
Yeah, that's Bobby.
dude, he's doing a pretty good impersonation of Bobby.
Okay,
You
roll
guys
here,
that don't know
Bobby,
Bobby.
come here. Okay, you guys ready? Do it. Let's do it. Bam. Did you see it again?
He does not suffer fools. Dude.
Every movement, instead of saying like this is step 1, step 2, step 3, everything is bam, and you have to like count the
bam.
numbers. You count the bams, and that's how many movements there are.
Yeah.
You just go here, bam, and then you just bam.
I love it when the jiu-jitsu guys count the numbers, and the first time they do it, there's 3 steps, and the second time they do it, there's 4 steps. The third time it's back to 3. It's like
You're really talking about me, right?
no. Actually, I've seen there's these 2 brothers from the Torrance Academy that put videos out. Sometimes when they count numbers during the steps, the numbering system changes a little bit.
The finger snap.
Nevertheless, I stole
do like
that.
the finger
I do
snap.
it all the
It's pretty
time.
good.
Right here. Hey,
Because I wave my hand around, but I have like a little like midget meat paw. And sometimes people don't see the wave. Like every time like I'm going to ask a question here on the podcast, I'll do like a little wave. And Tim swears he's never seen me wave my finger. And
I never see
it's
it.
just a little midget hands. Look at them, guys. You guys see on YouTube?
Baby hands.
Yeah. This is like, yeah.
Yeah.
They're little midget hands.
Okay.
You want to see
They
the
will
hands
muff
of-
you up, though.
Hands of greatness. Look at the calluses.
Look at that. He is palm olive hands. Look at you. See Tim's hand? Nice and feminine. Never done
Look
a
at
day
mine.
of labor.
Mine look like they've been in a
1%ers.
fire.
Look at that finger.
That is a
all
Jodie
jacked.
Foster knuckle right there. That's a G-spot model,
Dude,
right?
shut up.
Look at that
That's the
knuckle.
knuckle I
Look at
broke.
that
That
knuckle
right there.
there.
That's ribbed for your pleasure,
I'll
ladies.
give you a knuckle sandwich.
roll.
Hey, let's take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with a special game I put together called What You Say.
This is going to be funny.
Sean and Ernest are going to be the contestants on the game.
Good job, sir.
Be
Sweet.
right back in 2 and 2.
And go get your shine backs.
Welcome back to the Inside the BJJ podcast. So I had this idea. What are you doing? You played your phone. You tried to hide it real quick. I'm trying to muffle it. I'll sit on it. Well, I was reading these funny Nick Diaz quotes. I was watching his post-fight and pre-fight conference. He's just a crazy guy. And I just realized there's so many crazy dudes in jiu-jitsu that say so many crazy things that I thought it would be fun if I just pulled like 5 quotes from different jiu-jitsu dudes and then had you guys try to figure out who said the quote. Right? That's the game.
All right.
And it could be funny, and it might suck. I don't know. I've done some things that turned out really funny.
Is this going to be like Matt's marriage advice?
Matt's marriage advice is funny
That's
now.
legendary.
It was not funny when it happened.
This is fucking huge, dude. You know how amusing it was for me to sit? He was sitting where this monitor is, and I was just sitting here watching this guy, like somewhat like feeling really bad for him, like a lot of sympathy, and like halfway like really fucking amused.
Because what happened was this is a show is really early, and he's like, dude, I got this segment I want to do. It's about marriage advice, how to keep your marriage happy and train jiu-jitsu. He's like, it's going to be so funny.
2 subjects he knows shit about.
Is he divorced yet? Or
No.
He's married. Oh, he's
No.
married?
He's married, yeah.
Did you like how I
His
said that?
wife just
Yeah.
tolerates him.
Did
She's
you like how I said? I was like, he's divorced yet? I didn't just say. You like that? You're welcome, gentlemen. You're
So
welcome, ladies.
he comes
Is he
in.
divorced yet?
he does the segment, and he's like, he's not prepared. He's like flipping through his notebook and looking, and I've known Matt my whole life.
He's like, you can watch him like slowly like crumbling as he's reading it. He's realizing the next
This is
question
not
is going to
funny.
be shitty. So he's trying to like come off the cuff with some of it and like modify it as he's looking at it. He's doing a lot of throat clearing, a lot of like moving around the seat.
And so what happened was during one of his segments while he's going, let me see if I can find
This fucking guy throws crickets out. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're a fucking dick, dude.
somewhere while he was talking, he heard this.
Fucking asshole, dude. He was fucking dying. I felt bad. I was still amused, but I was like trying to like stay quiet so that he can like concentrate.
We're trying to stay quiet. So
And
you
this
can
fucking guy throws
help him
crickets out,
concentrate.
dude.
You got to throw some help out.
He got
Yeah.
after the show, he was so mad at me. The next day, he's like, dude, I was flailing, and he's all, instead of throwing me a life jacket, you threw kerosene on me and set me on fire.
You're like, here, grab onto this. It's a fucking block.
Hey, man, I've told jokes. I've like set these jokes up that I thought were going to be great, and I get to the punchline, and you and Matt look at me like,
That's the whole thing. You can't set 'em
Because
up.
sometimes
This is
you
stupid.
sometimes you just kind of like you put too much into the.
No, you,
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
set them up. You just got to come
Yeah.
off. I mean,
Because
Valtrex
the-
will never get old. Because everybody's
hilarious.
wondering, okay, do these guys
Yeah.
really have herpes? I mean,
well,
yes. I mean,
you see those hands?
We might.
So, I mean,
Only in my mouth.
so yeah, I know you start.
it's like what Dave tells
called a
chicks.
canker Thor.
Are you ever rubber? No, I've never used one. I do this all the time. Don't worry about it, baby. You're fine.
I do this all the time.
I do this all the time.
I got a
I've
bunch of
never
illegitimate
My
kids.
timing's good.
Take a Valtrex.
So yeah, like our white belt, white versus black jiu-jitsu advice segment game we did. When I originally had it all worked out, we went through it, and Matt and Ernest were like, "This is dumb," and I was like, "Yeah, you guys are right. It's dumb," but we stuck with it and just kind of like
Gutted it out.
just like freestyled it, and it turned out to be really funny, right? So anyway, I don't know. So this is a little game of play. So here's the deal: you guys don't know who the answer is. I know who the answer is because I put it together. So I'll read the quote. I'll show you the picture, and I'll read you the quote, and then you guys decide. So we'll start with the first one. The question is: I don't make much money on fighting because I spend it all on food. And the possible answers are Nick Diaz, Ernest Mello, and Horian Gracie. He's got the Gracie diet, right? And he just focuses on food a lot. Ernest just,
I'm gonna go with Ernest on this one.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
That sounds like something Ernest would say.
Ernest is a guy who showed me the technique of dumping your rice bowl from Chinese food into
Francisco calls that fat wisdom.
into your soup bowl to make sure you don't even miss one
That's a good idea. I do that.
one
at Dave Long.
sconch of liquid of the soup.
Is
right?
that Ernest's answer?
Yeah. So the
Number
I'm
two.
Was
going
it
with
Ernest?
I'm going with Jorge and Gracie.
I'm going with number 2, Ernest Mello.
The answer is Nick Diaz. You're both wrong.
Wow. Oh, he does buy really healthy food.
He spends a crap load of money on vegan whole food foods.
He does.
He does, man. He
He
makes
does.
special trips up to, which is really funny because he's like portrayed as Mr. Ghetto Gangster, but in
He's
real life
actually-
he's like Mr. Triathlete Vegan.
Triathlete vegan that does charity work here in Stockton. So
Yeah. So there you go, Nick Diaz.
Actually, yeah.
You guys are
Actually
both
eats
wrong.
Really, really good.
He
Go
eats
ahead.
really healthy. Okay, the
Yeah.
next question is: when asked about his training status, I've been watching a lot of DVDs.
James Thompson.
Who said this? Was it Matt Freeman?
wait,
Someone asked this guy about his training. How's your training going? He said, I've been watching a lot of DVDs.
Oh, that's going to be Matt Freeman.
Was it Matt Freeman, right? 10-year white belt, James Thompson,
this is a Breaking Bad version of Matt.
or...
What happened to Roger Ebert
Or-
right there? Where's his job?
Well, I'm just saying Roger Ebert watches a lot
That's
of...
a puppet of him, dude, and you're being insensitive.
That is not
Is
a
that
puppet
really-
of him, dude.
Isn't that Crank Yankers?
no, that's him.
That's him, bro.
That's him.
He ate a lot of movie popcorn. Let's just say that.
No, that's really him. What happened to him?
He had like
Valtrex.
he actually physically
Didn't take
ate
enough.
he ate a DVD.
He
And, like,
became one big herpy.
Did he really? You
no,
joke?
he had some kind of hoof and mouth disease or something like that.
Yeah,
Are you
he
serious? What happened to him, really?
hoof and
He
mouth
got in a
disease.
fight with Ebert. or
is
Siskel. He got in a fight with Siskel, and Siskel gave him a left roundhouse kick to the face.
That guy's not even with us anymore, dude. So you're being really
when he
insensitive.
was with us.
The answer is Matt Freeman.
The ghost of Gene Siskel came back and hit him in the face with a frying pan.
Is
Look
the
at
answer
him.
Matt Freeman?
They couldn't decide on whether fried green tomatoes was 2 thumbs up or 1 thumb up.
Just
The
look
ghost
at
of
it.
Gene Siskel came back.
Just stare at the picture and
I
listen
can't.
to
It's
this.
just weird.
Just stare at it. Like, hello, Dr. Lecter.
So who said that? I've
you
been
remember?
watching.
Matt Freeman.
Because all 3 of these guys watch a lot of DVDs.
Matt Freeman.
James Thompson.
The winner's James Thompson.
Whoa, that's my
Yes.
first guess. See, y'all stay with
Joe-
your first answer.
Joe
See?
Rogan podcast.
Yes,
guys
James
again.
Thompson. MMA superstar James Thompson.
Yeah.
He's great. Isn't this the guy that lost to
He lost to Mike. He lost to
He
Michael
lost to
Bisping.
the big black fella.
Michael Bisping. He
Yeah.
lost to Michael Bisping too.
Did he? Didn't he
Yeah.
lose to the big black dude, Kimbo?
The big black fella. He hit me in the ear.
Yeah, he
and
popped my
exploded.
ear.
explode in my ear out. It really
Oh,
wasn't painful.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was Kimbo.
Kimbo.
Slice.
Kimbo.
Okay, sir.
Kimbo. That's racist when you say Kimbo.
Kimbo.
All right, question 3.
Kim.
My diet is like Atkins, but with the carbs.
BJ Penn.
Who said that? Was it Hedon Gracie talking about his super awesome diet? Was it Tim Freeman talking to his CrossFit friends at CrossFit?
What are
talking
you
about his
fucking
diet?
playing hopscotch in that picture? Look at you.
Yeah, I'm just really happy.
Fruitcake. He's
The
like,
answer is
look
going to
at
be Tim Freeman.
Or was
purple
it?
belt is my favorite color. It's my favorite belt because it's
This is
purple.
like my happiest jiu-jitsu picture of
The
all
answer is
time.
going to be Tim Freeman.
Look at me behind him like, hey, you guys want to skip? And
My
I'm like,
diet-
yeah, I'll skip with you.
My diet is like Atkins, but with the carbs.
That's
or,
gonna be Tim Freeman.
Or is it BJ
It's
Penn?
going to be Tim Freeman.
Sean says Tim Freeman. Ernest
Go
says,
with Huron.
you guys suck,
BJ
dude.
Penn. That was my first answer again.
BJ Penn? See?
BJ
That was my
Penn.
first answer again. I got him
Are you
both
serious?
right.
Does BJ Penn ever look like he missed a carb in his life?
Dude, I met him. He was like solid as a rock.
That guy would eat a carburetor, dude.
Hey, he was running up the crater in Honolulu.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just dude.
He heard there was some an L&L Hawaiian barbecue at the top. He wanted to be the first there.
He was in. He gave me the bro hug, and I was impressed. I mean, I've hugged a lot of dudes in my time.
Yeah.
you say-
Can you
did-
describe that experience?
Well, it was just, I was running up the crater, and as I was running up, I looked, I saw it was him, and I was like, BJ Penn. And he said, nice to meet you, sir. He bowed down. I was trying to bow as low as I could, I mean,
He's a short guy.
he's bad.
how did the hug feel though? Like,
He's pretty solid. It was
it
like a
good?
table. It was nice. I
was
felt
it chest to chest?
I tried to get in.
Was it whole pec? Was it like the whole pec or half pec touching?
I wasn't the Christian hug. I was trying to do a full embrace.
Did you get
Yeah.
Did you get double unders or
Nah,
no?
it was a
Did you
Christian-
get
it was a
pelvis?
Christian hug.
Did you get any pelvis contact?
Nah, it was
Was
a
it ass
Christian hug.
out?
It was just a bro hug. I don't know how to
Bro
say
hug?
that. Kind of like a prison hug. Kind of like what the prison guys
Oh,
do.
a bump almost.
You
What's
do
up,
like
sir?
the the Bennett and what's the dude on Predator when they slap hands and they flex their forearms, but then you kind of come in and soften it up,
You
touch
gotta
shoulders.
soften- I
Did he
always
smell
soften.
like poi?
I didn't know.
No. Okay. He heard there was a luau at the top of the volcano.
Dude, I'm telling you.
He was sweating salted pork.
He's like, I heard they're roasting the pig.
Is that your BJP?
Yeah. I heard they're roasting the pig at the
The
top.
Hawaiian accent is the most
I
difficult
can't even
one,
do
dude.
it. I don't even know how to do
yeah,
it.
everybody that I've ever seen try to do Hawaiian accent sounds like a total dumbass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. All right, here's the next one.
Like you just did.
How did Ricardo Arona get in my guard?
I'd bang that
let
chick,
me,
bro.
Let me read the rest of this. Hold on. This is the whole one. Here's the whole quote. How did Ricardo Arona get in my guard? Maybe he took me down. It doesn't matter. Maybe I just woke up one morning and Ricardo Arona was in my guard. Here's what I'm going to do. Who said that? Was it the great Renato Laranja? Was it the former Attorney General Janet Reno?
Mario
Or
John
was
Reno.
it Z. Mario Sperry?
Mario Sperry.
Wait, let me read it. Let me read it the way it should be. Oh, I can't read it. I can't
Mario
see the
Sperry.
answers. My bad.
Oh,
It's Mario Sperry. That sounds like. I mean,
Yeah,
come
okay.
on. It's not Janet Reno. It's not
it could be Janet Reno.
The answer is Janet Reno.
John Reno.
The answer is John Ritter. Is a trick question. Ha ha! You
both
lose. Yeah, no, you're right. It was Mario Sperry. That was weak. Okay, let's go to the next one. Last question. You guys like this game? It's pretty
like it.
good.
I like
good
it.
game.
It's pretty
Here's
good.
the next
It's
one.
going place. It's got legs. It's got legs.
Even if I argue with my wife, I love it. If
Javi.
it's a fight, it's good. Was that Javier Vasquez talking about his relationship with Rose Gracie? Was it Henzo Gracie talking about his wife? Or was it Janet Reno talking about her wife?
Javier Vasquez.
Look, I'll tell you why. Let me break down why. Okay. In every relationship, there's the
I feel like Javi's looking right through me in that picture,
Yeah.
by the way.
there's an alpha, right?
Uh-huh.
That could be the female sometimes. All right. I don't imagine the guy that chases somebody down through a subway, beats the fuck out of him, is saying that about his wife.
Uh-huh.
So that takes out Henzo, right? Henzo's not going to tolerate any nonsense.
Uh-huh.
He'll chase her down through the kitchen and beat the shit out of her.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right.
John Reno.
Janet John Reno.
This is the one that ordered people to kick
That
down
dude
a-
is weird. That dude is weird.
Yeah, John Reno's a bad motherfucker, right?
He's weird.
He will fuck a little Cuban boy up,
Yeah, he does.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Did he
that's-
order that? He ordered that, huh?
He
Yes.
also ordered Waco,
Waco.
Texas.
John Reno ordered Waco.
Ruby Ridge.
Look at John Reno does not fuck around.
Johnette, you mean.
John Edge.
John.
Jean Bonnet Reno.
Janae Reno.
I'm sorry, that was wrong.
Yeah,
Jean
that's
Benet.
very insensitive, dude.
Sorry.
As far as like really like,
I'm sorry, Keenan Cornelius. I'm sorry.
So Javi been known to take a little shit from his wife.
What do you think,
I'm
Mister?
gonna go with number 1, Javier Vasquez.
Number 1.
You guys are no good.
Henzo
Henzo Gracie, my friend.
Kidding me?
Hey, Henzo said, even if I argue with my wife, I love it. If it's a fight, it's good. The man likes to scrap.
Fuck.
It's a good one. You guys were not that great, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit disappointed. Oh, that's the wrong slide. What? How'd he get in there?
you
Oh,
suck
man.
again.
You suck. You lose, Mr. Freeman.
You must eat all of your vegetables. You'll be nice and big and strong.
And then say, like, don't watch the TV. Isn't that Poltergeist came through the TV, right?
That's right.
That little blonde
Yeah.
chick. I would have kicked that chick
Yeah,
in the head
Caroline.
way back. Well, she died, too. That's kind of sad.
See, fuck. What is it with you and dead people, dude?
I don't
Oh,
know.
because they can't fight you back. They can't defend themselves. That's why,
Whatever.
right?
So you're dead. Big deal. You're not the first person that died.
Wow.
Get over it.
So do you think Jeremy's going to look into Valtrex now since I've pushed it? Valtrex should pay something for us pushing their
I
product.
think so. That should be our next sponsor.
Valtrex.
Sponsored by M Kimonos and Valtrex.
Sponsored by Valtrex Kimonos.
Valtrix.
With Valtrex,
Dude,
you don't
that's
even
smart.
need a kimono.
Yeah.
I
you
took
can-
6 Valtrex. and
We'll
I'm
call
ready to roll.
Hey, let's have a gi-less tournament. We'll call it the Valtrex Cup.
We got to contact Valtrex and see if they'll.
And the winner gets a
Throw a
lifetime
sponsorship.
supply.
Valtrex Open.
Yeah, that was a good game. I enjoyed playing that game with you guys. I got to get some
We
better
need music.
background music.
We need music.
Do, do,
We
do,
need
do,
to close.
do,
We need a way to
do,
close
do.
it because I didn't even know we were done playing.
Yeah,
I
we're
was ready
done.
for the next one.
Well, sorry, man. I couldn't spend. I had to spend a lot of
Here
time.
we go. The production.
I will take my own life sentence.
Can I just say this?
Tim has dishonored you, and I feel dishonored.
That's what he would like. He'd like me to fall on my pin every time I made
I
a
will
mistake.
commit Harry Carey. Is that what it's called?
Harry Carey, yeah. Yeah.
Fine, I'll do it. What do I have to
I'll
do
do
with
it. Fine. Oh, that's good.
This is actually pertains to him. I like this one. Well, the power.
Is this still under construction, or are you ready?
No, I'm not ready at all. I'm just fucking around with my
Oh,
phone.
gotcha.
So.
Okay. I
But
thought
wait,
thought you
take
were
an
pulling
opportunity to
something
chop
out.
me down.
Once again, I am sorry, Sensei.
Do you feel what?
Do you feel in charge?
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
This is my podcast.
Do you feel in charge, Mr. Freeman?
He pet him.
Really nervous, like this guy can fuck me or kill me.
Bane
Either
was
one
pretty
is not
tough.
going to be cool.
Once again, can we swear on this show? I just
I try not to, but I guess nobody listens to me. That's the thing. Nobody cares.
He's a cuckold, man. I mean, it's really
See
hard.
what I mean?
It's
You see
really
what I'm
hard to
saying?
respect the cuckold, man.
I try to put out a good, honest,
quality product.
quality
Family
jiu-jitsu
product.
podcast that I could be proud of and not embarrassed of. But I'm embarrassed of it. I'm flat out embarrassed. I'm embarrassed.
Do you fear me, Tim?
I'm embarrassed for him. For him. You know what I mean? But I think that
Go get your shine backs.
I think if he rides my coattails long enough, he'll change.
I known this guy Tim a long time. You could shine shoes. You could see yourself in him. Something else. This guy's a good guy. He's been doing jiu-jitsu a long time.
Little Timmy Freeman.
Yeah. I'm not down with this.
What?
This whole thing.
I don't do that no more. I don't know if you noticed now. I don't.
do that.
Hey, no disrespect. No disrespect.
Hey, I'm sorry. I've been away a long time.
Here's to you.
Yeah.
Here's to you.
Go get your fucking purple belt.
Go get your fucking purple bell. You motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, dude, I just swore. I'm sorry.
I kind of have
I
that
will commit
rage a
Harry
little
Carey.
bit, though.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Berserker. You go berserker.
I don't go berserker. You
There's
really?
that?
Just a lot of dead cats behind.
Let me
Tim's
say
house.
this though. I don't feel like I go berserker, but I do kind of inadvertently hit guys a lot.
I never go berserker. I never hit anybody. I'm like calm all the time.
This
Oh,
is a fucking
brother.
guy. Sean will. This is how Sean gets even with you. He'll kiss you while you're rolling.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
that's
I
not
told-
berserker. That's weird.
I told you. I said I will give you the kiss of death, and it
Yeah.
pulled me, and they were like,
He
"Dang
kept,
it!"
He kept threatening to kiss me.
You
and
even
I
said, "Dang it."
I kind of went from like chuckling along with him to
so like, don't kiss me.
getting irritated to like, all right, I'm just gonna fuck this dude up, dude. So I was just letting him just hang out in the guard. And then I'm like, all right, then it's time for him to get swept and submitted. So I set it up, collar, sleeve,
Pulled me
scissor
in.
sweep. I sit up, bring my head to his, just so I can pull him back and sweep him.
And he
As soon as
kissed
I
you.
brought my head in, that was a setup. He kissed me. I brought it to him,
Immediately, I was like,
and I'm like, fuck.
he goes, "Dang it!" You even said, "Dang it!" Like,
Wait a
what is
minute.
it?
You were thinking during the match. All right, it's time to sweep him, submit him.
Yeah, and he pulled me in.
That
I
is- that's
was
a sign of
waiting.
humility.
Well, I was just waiting to kiss him. He pulled me in. Immediately, I kissed him right on the head, and he's like, "Dang it!" And I was like, "You're welcome."
I kissed little Brandon.
Kiss of death.
I kissed little Brandon on the side of the head, and he flipped out, dude. And then
I've been spending a lot of time with little Brandon. He talks to me about how he doesn't. He's like, I wanted to get the color belts together, and I was trying to explain to him that there's many people that could come in here wearing no belts that will destroy us. So it means nothing. But he's very into the belt thing right now. He likes that a lot. He's like, "What do you think about? You know, do you think belts are good?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's good. You know, I like it. I hate it when I get tapped, but if you get tapped, you get tapped." I'd hate to have I'd hate to like come in and be like, "Yeah, I'm a black belt, man. I'm doing good," and then just get tapped by everybody.
Sure. I think it's racist that he keeps calling everyone colored belts.
Yeah, they're not called.
He likes it a lot.
They're
He's
not
really
called
into
coloreds anymore. Dude.
So when I
He loves that color. He loves that. He's like, color belts. I'm like, yeah.
when I supposedly hurt his shoulder and he laid on the mat for 20 minutes, I didn't know if you hurt someone's shoulder, it puts them to sleep. Apparently, I went over and kissed his shoulder, and he got really upset at me.
Hey, sometimes you could tell, like he's a good kid. You could tell he was right. Like his parents, you could tell his mom she was really good, and you've been a good influence on him. But my favorite thing is when we go out, I realize how much of a hell of a guy he is. That's
Yeah.
all I want to say about that. But
Yeah.
Brandon, you're a hell of a guy if you listen to this.
I don't.
Listening.
You
Yeah,
are my
listen.
Padawan apprentice.
Brandon.
Always true there are master
He's like-
and apprentice.
Which one did we get?
He's the Mexican. He's a little mini Mexican.
Well, Ernest already told me.
What is
a Padawan you already have. You cannot take two. Dave has much to learn of the living
Let's-
force, but he's ready for the trials.
Too old he is to begin training.
He is the chosen one. You must see it.
He's a good mix of
He
everybody.
brought two 19-year-olds to a bar.
He's a good mix. But listen,
One had braces.
he wears short shorts.
Dave tried to get on her.
He does wear shorts.
He wears Chuck Walkers.
Well, he's got you. Can, if you like talk to Brandon, you hang out with him enough, you'll see like if you hang out with the whole group, you'll see Brandon is like that's the little homie.
Have you
know what I
seen
mean?
my
Like, you'll
pictures?
see-
Brandon is a hell of a guy.
You'll see all the influence from
I
different.
don't
people.
want to dishonor you, Brandon, but Brandon brings 19-year-olds to bars. One with braces. Well done, sir. Hose has much to learn of the living force. There's not much more I could teach him. He is ready for the trials.
He rivals Master Yoda with the lightsaber.
You guys are dorking out so bad. It's disgusting.
Would you want me to pull my dork out?
You're dumb, dude. You're dumb. Now you're dumb. Dumb.
The life of a hell of a guy is a hard life. It's a life
What's a
without
hell of a guy?
commitment.
Explain the hell of a guy. There's a culture that's a little subculture in our school. It's kind of reached out of our school. It's a hell of a guy thing, and Sean is actually in the eye of that storm.
It's the grand poobah.
It's so bad that they have this like messaging, group messaging going on, and I had to like unsubscribe. I'm
It's
like,
so
"Dude,
stupid.
Take me the fuck off of
It's
this.
so
I
stupid.
can't."
What they'll do is they'll take these party pictures of themselves with these women they're pretending are beautiful. I'm like, wow. Did you guys go to the dog pound? I didn't know they had a club there. No, I'm just kidding.
The life of a hell of a guy is
And
a
then-
hard life.
and then-
We
and
have
then
to
they'll
protect
send
the
it
married
out.
men from this.
And then somebody will zoom in one guy's face, and then they'll send
Yeah.
that one out of just one guy with some goofy smile.
And there's a lot of like shirtless and maybe in their underwear pictures too. Like,
And then-
just homoerotic.
That every chance they get, they're stripped down. Even at jiu-jitsu, like Sean, he'll come in. It'll be like the middle of kids class, and he'll be like, "I gotta get my shirt off. I'm itchy.
Oh man, this
I think I got a rash."
So explain the hell of a guy network without giving away too much. You know?
It's hard to explain. Being a hell of a guy is it's like a guy who has, girls are looking for qualities in guys. A girl wants a good guy that she can count on, a guy who's going to reciprocate the love that she gives. And so a lot of times, you'll want to discuss things like the qualities you possess that make you a good guy. For instance, there's one hell of a guy that possesses a very unique quality. He doesn't like standing in line. So what he'll do is he'll pay people to move out of the way. Sometimes he pays them to go all the way to the back of the line. Then as he's passing by, he waves to him. So, you're looking for a quality in a guy. I don't have any patience. That's my quality. That's a good quality to have.
Dude, now I'm trying to think of who this dude is.
Well, another girl.
Ted DiBiase.
Another guy that, another quality that a guy should possess that a woman looks for is bad temper. Because girls like a guy that loses his temper for basically no reason. I've just found that girls like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A girl likes a guy who has no patience and no self-control. Those are good qualities to possess. So you lose your temper, you do things like punch walls, kick things, punch the steering wheel. They like that. You know what I mean? Another quality that girls like is tardiness. Tardiness. You know, a girl loves it when you say you're going to be there in 20 minutes, and that actually means 2.5 hours. They really like that. That's what a hell of a guy does. They bring those qualities to the table that most guys are afraid.
I'm starting to sound like more of a hell of a guy as you speak, dude.
Hey, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Except
3 hours later. Sorry, babe. Hey, I'm coming back from jiu-jitsu. What time are you going to be back? 8 o'clock. Or 10, however you want to look at it.
Between, like the fucking cable guy.
Like your Comcast, get a window.
Between 4 and 6. Let's make that 4 and 10.
Yeah, I try to give a window, but another quality that you need to possess to be a hell of a guy is a real problem, you know, telling the truth to girls. They love that too.
If you can't tell the truth, they love that.
Hey, what girl wants you to be honest with them? I haven't met one yet. Because, you know, let's face it. If your lips are moving and you're talking to some girl.
So this is the qualities he's laid out so far. Impatient, right? No self-control.
Bad temper.
Right? Always late, right? Does not respect your time. And has a sketchy relationship with the truth.
So Sean, if I'm a chick and I'm like, you know, hey, Dave seems like a nice guy.
He's
and
great.
I want my sister. You know, she's single.
He's great.
They're within 10 years of each other. She's about 10 years younger, but she's
on either side.
Yeah, she's 20. You know, so what is he?
She'll
She's
be out of
35, so he's 15 years difference.
She'll be out of junior high next month.
Yeah, but she's vulnerable. You know, she's kind of like she's at that stage in her life where she's really like impressionable. Like I want to set her up with somebody who's I can trust, not to break her heart. You know, and I like you. You seem forthcoming. You can kind of lose your temper sometimes, but you know, but you're a pretty good guy, and I hope that your friends are a lot like you.
They're exactly like me.
You think setting Dave up?
Exactly like me.
They're dishonest. They have bad tempers. They're impatient. They'll never be on time.
You think setting up my sister with Dave would be a good idea?
Great idea.
Great idea.
He's one hell of a guy.
You got to watch out for those guys, ladies.
One good quality, though, is that we're not cheap, and we blow all our money on girls. And usually when we have problems, at the heart of that problem is a girl. So if they like that, those other qualities are pretty
basically
good.
the opposite of Jay-Z, right? Like, you got 99 problems, but
the
female is actually, well, you got one
I got
problem,
99 problems, and the girl is the biggest one.
Nice.
That's awesome, dude.
So, hey, I think we're done.
I think Sean should do the marriage advice.
Sean should come back again with some marriage advice.
Hey, I could come next time and do the marriage advice. I don't even need to rehearse. I've got marriage advice. I've been married twice.
You got a lot of experience.
Captain. Oh yeah, I got experience. Both of them lasted about 9 months.
Just right out. So just
I have over 18 months of marriage experience between 2 different women.
You want marriage advice? It's kind of like people ask, they say, yeah, we have a kids class. I'm like, you know, we ought to start having like a daycare class. Moxophone and Walker. Don't bring your children to Sylvan. Bring them to the senior.
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine? I mean,
Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck and Bobby. I mean, dude, what other guys? Bobby, who has a child of his own.
Who hates children.
Hates children.
Yeah.
And Chuck, I don't think he has any feelings for anything.
More machine than man.
He told me that, the senior is more machine than man now. He's more tape than man now, twisted and evil.
Yeah.
He once told me that I was emotionally detached. I just looked at him. What do you say to that? I mean,
Asian driver telling you driving like an asshole.
Yeah, I could give that.
Detached.
Yeah, marital class. Yeah, whatever. You throw it at me. I'll keep you married. I can get you through at least the first. I mean, I can get you through at least 6 months. I mean, there is an end date to this thing.
Right.
It's
That's
18
great.
months, right?
Yeah, you got the 3 months of.
So just off the top of your head, like say somebody like the senior wants to go on a death hump, right?
Yeah.
But the wife, you know, she's like, hey, it's an important time in our relationship. You know, what's your response to that?
It's an important time. I have to work that week. Immediately come up with a cover story. It's not dishonest. You just don't want to tell the truth because you don't want to hurt her feelings. You gotta come up with
I
a
have to
back.
work that week.
One of the reasons we lie to girls is just to protect them from themselves because they don't want to know the truth.
I have to work that
What
week.
girl wants you to be honest? I mean, come on, come in.
Come in.
Thank you, man.
Come in.
Oh, man. Thanks, guys. That was good. Big Man Seminar, May 25th.
May 25th.
We'll get some more info up real
seminar?
soon.
It's on Facebook.
Train
I put
Ronin.
there's a Facebook invite. Go to Ronin Jiu-Jitsu on Facebook.
Ernest is going to
look
be
it
doing
up.
a seminar for big guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, big guy
on.
techniques. And
It's
then
gonna be awesome.
I'm going to be there selling cheeseburgers on the side.
You know,
Fucking guy.
yeah, there's a couple dudes. Yeah, guys will go to that.
Yeah.
That'll be good, man.
Yeah. Be cool. I'm looking forward to it.
You got to give a hell of a guy. I actually every weekend we have hell of a guy seminars. Brandon goes to most of them now. So
The 856.
well, not 856, but
They have.
wherever.
Wherever, huh?
Paradise Club.
Yeah,
You
maybe
guys,
Paradise.
are you guys kind of like the Native Americans where you go where the buffalo are? Like you don't have a set home. Like wherever there's good hunting, you're there.
Yeah, that's about it. When Brandon brought the girl with the braces, I almost cried. I was so proud. I'm like, you are ready for the trials. Our own counsel we will keep on who is ready. He is the chosen one. I will train him.
This guy.
Will bring balance.
He just talks in like a mismatch of movie quotes.
Star Wars.
I told Brandon, just don't ever tell the truth. Anytime you're talking to a girl, just lie.
I'm not Mexican.
That's good advice. Yeah, he
Dishonesty above everything.
I'm Middle Eastern.
yeah, he could pass for that. He can go Middle East.
I'm Indian. I'm Hindu. He could do it. All right, guys. Hey, everybody, check us out, InsideBJJ.com. You can check us out on Twitter, @InsideBJJ. Ernest is @InsideBJJ Ernest. Premium subscriptions, InsideBJJ.com/premium. Look for the one-on-one that Ernest is going to do.
www.trainronin.com. Tim will have the information for our
Oh,
big guy
yeah, you
seminar
like that.
up.
Interesting. Yeah.
Tim's the man.
I'm going to adjust the fee schedule on that. It's going to slide in a little bit, like how I slipped from the offering.
Shave a little bit off the top.
I'll be like Slick, and you'll be one man gang. You a Jasso, bro. A Jasso, bro. You never get
Damn,
nothing
dude.
in the end.
Forgot about that. All right.
Yeah, that's good. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining us, and we'll see everybody on the flip flop.
Skate, skate.